सागरे गपगरे गपधा पगरे ग
Happy Monday, friends. It feels like it was just yesterday. 7 weeks ago, we were starting the season, and now we find ourselves in the quarterfinals. Where has time gone? I've become an uber boomer, but fortunately, Reese is joining me, Sticula is joining me to help me remember my youth. My friend, welcome.
Hey, glad to be with you here, Chief. We're into the playoff now. The season has concluded, and we're going into the postseason. One thing to keep in mind here is the playoffs have seen a couple of changes. We've had some forfeits come through already. The teams playing in tomorrow's broadcast will actually be swapped around, from what I understand. JJ and co have dropped out of the season, so there'll be a new team coming in. We'll have more clarification about that later down the line. But we have an awesome best of three coming your way tonight. It's one of the top seeds inside of this group coming in as a newly formed Surf Esports. From what I've been told, they have moved over from Team Assault. There's been a couple of changes. Notably, I don't think Gunner is on this roster anymore. You have Ambi coming in. You've got kind of this aggressive element coming onto this roster. And on the opposite side of the best of three is Emergence, a team that we've had many opportunities to cast through the season, and their roster has been fairly consistent here, Chief.
Well, Reese, do we actually have rosters to bring up, or are we just going to allude about these players? I guess we don't have rosters. We'll go to map beds instead. And you know what? Oh, here they are. Woo! There we go. No more speculation. Now, one thing that you mentioned, we talked about the departure of Gunner. Well, he's now leaving Team Surf, or formerly known as Assault, going over to the other first place team in the Rogue Conference. That's Team Mystic. We're going to probably see that battle in the later stages of postseason, but right now the light is truly being shed on the boys over at Surf, because that is still a stellar roster. Ashen, Ambi, Asian, Nacho, and Spiff. Those are some incredible gunners. I mean, those have been standout players in the amateur scene for, I guess, like a year now. And I mean, they're always rock solid.
No, yeah, it's hard to get shaken up with this roster. Emergence have had a lot of consistency through the season. That's been my favorite part of this roster so far. The fact that they come in, it's the same players every single week in and out. You don't have, Joe Schmo R6 has come out of the ranked trenches to come sub in, and then he's gone the next week, right? You get a consistency element here. You know which team is going to be playing, and there isn't any kind of wild changes in between weeks. Now that we're into the postseason, the schedule is compressed. It's only 2 weeks. We have the quarterfinals Monday through Thursday this week, and then in the next week following that, we have our 2 semifinals. We have the third place game, and then closing it out, of course, it's the best of 5 grand finals. And I imagine another point you mentioned there, Chief, with these two teams, Surf and on the other side, Mystic, probably meeting up later in the playoffs. I would imagine that's going to be the grand finals, because these two teams, to be quite frank, I don't think are going to lose. They're not going to lose until they get to the grand finals, but that in itself comes up with a question of its own, Chief. Which of those two would you favor?
Oh, you put me on the spot there for Surf and Mystic. I think I'll go Surf for now, because they've been together not longer. I think they just have a better chemistry. It's so hard to tell, because it's that grand final goes to map 5 and it comes down to the final few rounds. Like it's just going to be neck and neck, because it's 10 superstar players, and it's a gamble of who you pick. But I'm going to move away from the grand finals, because we don't even know if that's happening yet, Reese, because we still have Emergence in the way of Surf. And Emergence is no slouch. You mentioned their consistency, and that's something that's going to be very critical for them for the potential success against Surf today. But Reese, what do we need to see from Emergence today if they want to use Surf?
I would say fundamentals have got to be there in terms of keeping your cool, playing calm, trying to play your own game, right? It seems like kind of one of those intangibles we always talk about on the broadcast. Don't fall for the opponent's trap. And it's going to be tough to not have that pitfall come to your, not to your aid, really to your attack almost in this match tonight, because you look on the other side of the field. We mentioned Surf, you read off their roster, you know who's on this team. It's a pug stack, it's an aggressive team. Ambi is a gunner. Ashen has been dropping record numbers recently. If you look to the SCS qualifier, in fact, that's another important note about this match. Surf made it into SCS. First qualifier, didn't lose a single map, right? They went 12-0, counting all maps through that qualifier, and that's a huge accomplishment. Notably, SCS has had an incredibly high level of competition in that qualifier, and that definitely feeds into Surf being one of the teams, kind of one of the top dogs, maybe even some people saying better than Mystic at the moment. And if you look on the other side, I hate to say it, Emergence are kind of untested, but we know that they play consistently. And so coming into that has to be their biggest element tonight, right? You need to be on top of that, and you need to be playing smart. Know that you're going to get rushed. Ashen and Ambi are going to be at every doorway, are going to be crouching through across the threshold, in and out. So be ready for that. I'm not saying trap operators. I'm saying get your guns up, get off cams.
Well, let's actually bring up our map pool and see if we're going to be seeing this paradise that is going to facilitate the style of play that Surf likes, that very aggressive style. Maybe even see a coastline make its way on through. Oh, speaking of the devil, coastline? Man, that feels like a missed opportunity for Emergence. Like, I would expect Emergence to probably default ban coastline just to get rid of that aggression, but they banned Clubhouse. Auto-ban Clubhouse. I mean, if we go back to the original iteration of Aggro and the first iteration of Team Mystic where Ashen and Asian were on that team, I mean, they made their debut from console to PC on Clubhouse, and they rocked teams. So I don't necessarily disagree with that ban. I just don't know what's the lesser of the evils, Club or Coast?
Yeah, that's a tough question to ask, especially with Surf. This honestly feels to me like a must win on your own map pick sort of situation for Emergence, because I just don't see them winning on Coastline. You look at their roster and they just can't compare in the gun skill element, right? It's never something you want to say about a team. You have better shooters than the team on the other side of the server, but it's so true. Surf have always been a team that's had shooters. If you look back to their chess club roster, even then they were known for kind of these spotty plays where they would do something on the fly and their gun skill would be what backs it up, right? But on Emergence's side, more structure. You do have Sonafin, who is prone to having incredible pop-off games, but he's also prone to kind of dropping some stinkers every now and then. He's not, the player who is going to come into the server like Ashen, where he kills people like it's his day job.
And the thing with Finn is he shouldn't be going nuclear. He is their IGL support. And it is not his job to be the entry. That is on the job of Warrior. And I want to kind of go back to our consistency statement. I mean, Warrior did step away from this roster for 2 weeks, and I think Wanda Swan has just recently stepped away. So there might be some changing of the guard once again in the back pocket of Emergence, and that is going to significantly affect the way that Finn is playing. If we look back at the way that Finn has been IGLing, if we go back to his SCS Season 3 debut, originally with Emergence, that was the Goria Clouds, and one more roster. I mean, he made his initial career because he had such a consistent roster. They practiced, they dry run, they put so much effort to build up the 5-man stack that he became very familiar with that style of play. And now going to this iteration of Team Emergence, it's the same thing. He's worked himself around, kind of like a vine growing around a building. He has ingrained himself in the turn, in the team. Now, with that being said, I think we're ready for the game.
Chief.
It's that time.
We are.
We can hit
We're going to jump to Coastline. We can go, we can hit S, we can do all the other things, and we can talk about the game that is in front of us here in the fall quarterfinals. Always nice to be back here at Unified for another great season. We've got some awesome announcements coming up about what's in the winter, but we'll have to hold on to that until we get everything solidified. But I promise you, we've got some awesome changes. We're going to be looking back at some of the notable player feedback that we've had on some things that have gone right and some that haven't gone as well. But in this matchup in particular, I mentioned it earlier, Coastline is going to be a great map for Surf, and I have to see and be kind of proven by Emergence that this is going to be a map where they're comfortable on, because they ban out the Coastline, as you say. It's kind of a tricky slope. Best of 3. A team gets to choose whichever map between, their primary selections in their pool. I'm not surprised that Surf go to Coastline, because that just feels like the perfect home for somebody like Ambi, somebody like Ashen. We're going to be saying their names all night. They're going to be running wild in this match.
Ah, the Buck ban. Something actually we don't really get to talk enough about how powerful Buck is on Coastline. If you know what the billiards bomb site looks like in Hookah, where you have the billiards table, you have the bomb chassis with that half wall, and then you have that nice luxury throw rug, the chairs, the couches. Well, that area is known as Smoke Spawn. I think it's also been called Pangu. And why that spot is so powerful is it allows smoke grenades to clip through the wall and deny the plant as it's going down. So what do you do to counter it? You just bring a Buck, a few of those skeleton key shots, and boom, those floorboards are removed, and all of a sudden, smoke can't play so comfortably in that spot. It changes the way a defender has to deny that bomb chassis. Again, we tend to always talk about, oh, of course Thatcher's bad, oh, of course Jackal's bad on Coastline, but it still makes me scratch my head every single day, Reese, that we see Buck allowed into Coastline, not used, or banned.
Buck is really a crazy operator. When you think of the fact that now he's got the secondary breaching equipment, I feel like he's going to be a huge powerhouse. We've already seen him start to creep in a little bit more on kind of your clubhouses. I would expect that maybe to precipitate a little bit as well to your Oregon, even your Cafe could be another look for the Buck there. In this game in particular, though, vertical play, you always have to worry about it. But one thing that I'll say is I actually have a very recent memory, and you should have been there for it as well. It was a kitchen defense on this map just this Sunday, or actually no, it was the Sunday previously. And Ashen was in a 1 versus 3. He eliminated the 2 players, but did not stop the plant. So it was a 1 versus 1 against an attacker who had the vertical on and was up above inside VIP. And Ashen just somehow beat the player that was up on vert, right? Something that should never happen. Ashen was even on the defuse, right? He was trying to get rid of that case. He was trying to counter it, and it just never materialized. He flicked to the player up on the vertical. He got right back on the defuse, and it was one of the smoothest things that I've seen in recent memory.
The expansion from Kitchen is not a new way of holding, but the problem with Coastline is you don't really have a lot of real estate. The thing is, if you're just in Kitchen and you're kind of playing it like you would play if you're playing, we'll say Basement on Oregon, right? Where you can kind of get away with a full bunker anchor. Here on Cafe, or pardon me, here on Coastline, you can't do that because the attackers have outside control already established through the exterior window. They can have that from the newly rebuilt room of reception. So you have to find new ways of holding map control. The way you do so is by either expanding upstairs, which everybody is familiar with, that also means attacking teams are very confident on, or you could try to do different things. And expanding over into blue, expanding over into pink allows a defending team to hold real estate and potentially take long-range engagements to deny access to the bomb sites.
Right, so we've had a couple of new kind of factors coming into this game, which does mean that we're going to have to transition into a break. I promise you this best of 3 will get on the road, but that intermission will come as we try to fix this up. Or maybe not, we're going to the game! I don't know what's happened now, but if we get to go into the game, Chief, okay. No, we're breaking? I'm getting all sorts of mixed messages.
at the bottom of the ocean. I'm at the bottom of the sea. I'm at the bottom of the ocean. Don't know if I'll make it back home.
Well, I apologize, folks, for the little bit of a delay that we had here, but we're into the round, and as you can see, things are already hitting a bit of a pace. 2 minutes in, Nacho has got a 15 response to even it out into a 3 versus 3 as he sort of makes his way up from the white stairs. You do have something moving against him. That's Cordell on the trio. You can see they have kind of an open setup here, very porous in the way that it's constructed. Cordell will wing a nitro right over the banister at the white stairs, and it connects as Emergents have a really good look here in this first round, as long as they can close out in that advantage. Cordell being an expert in this 90 position, headshot right onto Spiff, but Ambi quickly trades it back, and if there's any player that we know who can make the best out of an unfavorable situation, Ambi definitely ranks among them. There's a player on the white stairs, and Ambi doesn't have a shred of intel. As Son of Finn moves up, it's an easy cleanup out of the SMG-11 to give over the round to Emergents, which makes them 2-0. Brian, this is not the way I would have expected this game to start.
No, not at all. We started to sell the viewers on this is going to just be a wash for Surf. The tidal wave is going to come forward, and the Green Army of Emergence is going to just get carried out in the Riptide, and that's going to be the end of them. Now, we talked about roster iterations of Emergence earlier. Now, there's a time going back to that Goria Clouds roster where Coastline was the haven of Emergence. They made themselves quite a few upsets back in SCS Season 3 and Season 4 on that map. So it seems like maybe that's just a map that Son of Finn is comfortable on, and his new armada of players are already starting to make Team Assault or Team Surf look a little shaky on their own map choice, and that's something that I don't think they're expecting.
Yeah, that is, that's an easy way to put it. That's like Surf coming into this game and picking, like, I don't know, Villa or Cafe and being like, yeah, we're just chilling. We're hanging out. We're going to play these maps. Surf to lose opening 2. Obviously, we didn't see the first round. We didn't really get a solid chance to look at the second one. Is a bit of a shocker, to say the least, just from fundamentals. We'll go into the third round. We'll see it. We'll get a chance to actually look at the real meat and potatoes and dive into what's going on for Surf. Maybe they're warming up. There's always that element to come into this, but Emerge, for them to start well on the defensive coastline, most especially, I think, is probably going to be one of the biggest takeaways to their credit.
Tertiary bomb site. Now, we only see one deployable shield. One set of, so it's going to be the ADSs and Y pancakes. And this means Emergence most likely going to have some pressure over by the peak. Oh my! Was that a trade? Or is that, oh, those two different, wow, that was incredible shooting there from Spiff. And he lines up a second one as well. I mean, office control was heavily fortified by Team Emergence. And all of a sudden, Reese, it's gone, well, sideways. As Emergence, they stood their ground, maybe overconfident from those first 2-round victories, because, again, we are alluding to how aggressive Team Surf wants to be, and, well, they're flexing those mechanical skills early on.
Spiff searching for a C4 or even a grenade. It goes up, down to Jimmy Talon, but in the meanwhile, the AUG actually got a couple of bullets out towards the sledge. Perplex now finding himself against 3 with his teammate down. Talon is all the way upstairs. You can't even get up there in time. It would take such a huge rotation in order to make that possible. Perplex starting to step up down quad wall with the diffuser now successfully planted as well. Spots one over towards the bar. Perplex is searching for angles, searching for fights. Surf really aren't giving him away, except for Ashen, who is sitting on top of the bar. I don't know what he's doing there. You've got another attacker from Surf playing behind the prone spot as Nacho steps up. He gets the kill back onto the player inside of jungle, and I mean, what? What was Ashen doing?
I have no idea at this point, Reese, because it's just Coastline, right? We see that spontaneous combustion of Emergence. We talked about going into round 1, which we missed portions of. We talked about the expansion from Kitchen into Pink Bar, but now that you're going to both Blue and Pink Bar as your third bomb site, where do you really expand? Emergence elected to expand over into offices, and they stood their ground. And while I don't necessarily hate that mentality, what I dislike is how they stood their ground. What I would have liked them to do is, well, maybe have a deployable shield, maybe have some utility. We started talking about the early stage of that round. We're going to have a deployable ADS and why Pancakes over defending by Mudroom, but if you wanted to have this big grandiose final stand in office, why not set yourself up with utility? Why not set yourself with deployable shields? The same thing can be said if you want to have that crossfire from security. Now, a deployable shield and security probably isn't the best place to be, but it's a nice way to kind of gauge yourself as a defender, swing off your teammates when that gunfight takes place, that 1, 2, 3 count swing, so you have that crossfire the whole time. We just never really saw that from Emergence. They kind of just died till 85 as Surf.
Yeah.
No Fear took that map control. So we missed round number 1, unfortunately, but now we've got to finally see what the Emergence defense looks like on Kitchen.
The rotation here from Emergence. I like this sort of office hold. It's not one you get incredibly common. You know, maybe for a blue bars site defense, I would say, right, okay, yeah. You know, this is kind of your standard stuff, right? You do not want that open wall to feed right into the back of blue bar, which is such a free plant location. So long as you've locked off the rotate, you don't have many pressures coming from the vertical as well, it should be smooth sailing, right? But Surf Esports not even worrying about that. This is not an offense take. This is sort of some pressure from the main door, as well as a couple elements over by the towels area as well. They've also got just a TK? I mean, will it matter? Large scheme? Probably not. You don't have your smoke. You've lost out on your C4, and this is the way that I would have expected the game to begin, with Emergence just getting absolutely ran through, but all of a sudden, Warrior has got an effort of his own as he puts away 2. However, the pinch move by those last 2 members of Surf Esports will be good enough to eliminate the last defender's presence inside of service.
So what do you think has changed on the side of Surf and Emergence over the course of the past 4 rounds that we've seen, Reese? Is it maybe Surf underestimating their opponent? Maybe they gave Emergence too much flexibility? Maybe they just said, oh, you know, Emergence during regular play, or during regular season, they went, you know, 4-3, where we went 5-2. So we have the highest seed. We, on paper, are the better team. So let's just kind of flex our muscles and do dumb things. And I hate to put it that way, but it certainly looked like that in round 2. It was just discombobulation on the side of Surf. And now all of a sudden, I mean, let's go back to that round 3 entry of Office. I keep bringing that up because that's really the first time that we've seen Surf play as a roster, because they just kind of stormed on forward and they scared Emergence into that loss.
I wholeheartedly agree with your sentiment there. I mean, Ashen jumping up on the Sunrise, or not even Sunrise, inside Blue on the bar in round number 3. That's like, yeah. Surf might be doing a couple of weird things here, and they've got Ambi on the roster. He's sort of like the troublemaker, the class clown at school, right? He's a great player, very talented, but sometimes he gets in the classroom and he's doing things that are weird. He makes you laugh, you know, by the fact that up on the bar. I don't know, maybe there is some argument there to be like, that's an off angle, but you would think maybe having most of your body in cover is a good strategy for Rainbow Six.
Yeah. I mean, you know the best strategy in Rainbow Six Siege is? Remembering that we are humans and we should be thinking about our decisions, and making dumb plays is not where we should be going. How is Asian allowed to just first 15 seconds already be walking up the white stairs? And he has no drone. Now, there's Barb in his way, but here's the problem of not droning. You can get shot in the back, and by some miracle, Asian takes 5 HP damage loss, and Sonafin drops to 25. That's just unfortunate.
There's the trade, though, even despite some health loss, as here comes Ashton stepping through on a pixel angle, and he's got the response. Maybe he doesn't know the fact that Talon has actually been down in this back bookshelf corner of the VIP area. Ambi's still working hard to maintain the angle. There's a sudden burst of aggression right into the guitars area, and even, you know, further into the actual objective itself has really helped Surf Esports kind of bookend this round. Talon's still down, and he's in a position where it's unlikely he'll ever get recovered. Ashen will finish him off for the 3rd kill. Perplex is having some trouble. There's a real possibility of the quad coming in from Ashen as well, putting an immense amount of pressure on as the flashbang comes in as well. Perplex doing the most. And that'll be the round.
Well, it was a gamble coming in from Team Green of Emergence. They tried to bring out the Quaternary Bomb site. They tried to go to Penthouse Theater, and sadly, Reese, it didn't work. But maybe things would have gone differently if we saw Asian die up the white stairs. I mean, again, Surf is just so mechanical right now, Reese. I mean, there's just nothing to stop them.
The technical issues have been resolved, and we're back into Coastline. As you can see, we'll be starting in here on round number 7. My name is Tikula. I'm here with Mr. Chief, Mr. Brian Shoeberry. How's it going?
I think I'm doing better now that I can actually see what's going on in front of me.
Very true.
That's always helpful when it's a caster. But unfortunately, though, for the emergent stands out here, their run on their defending half hasn't come quite the way that they wanted. They had a brilliant start. I mean, those first 2 rounds, unfortunately, missed the majority of them, but I can just imagine that they were incredible. I guess we're going to have to put our thinking caps on and just pretend how glorious they were. Unfortunately, though, the latter 4 didn't quite go their way, did they?
No, they most certainly did not. And Surf Esports, I think my assumption of them needing to warm up a little bit is definitely the case, as they have taken 4 in a row, and this is probably the story of the game. It's going to be a little bit of a, maybe a bit of a sweep coming through here. Maybe, we'll have to see. Surf Esports attempting a couple of spawn kills here. Definitely see they have ignored any hazard as Ashen pops out onto the Aqua balcony. And he's got a quick one right there on the Warrior. I thought maybe the window had closed as Warrior was close enough to the building where you would have thought that he would have had cover. But in fact, that's not the case. And Son of Finn misses out on his window to collect against a kill, a player deep inside the back of Aquarium. However, Talon has the refrag. Nacho quickly makes it 1-up back for Surf Esports as the MX4 is good for a kill against the Lion. Always a pivotal operator to take out before we've even stepped into the mid-round.
What is this attack strategy? Finn has gotten a kill. He's DBO'd Ambi, and is that because he's baited on the X? What?
Wow.
I just saw that, right? Spiff just ran out of mudroom. I'm not hallucinating, correct?
No, you're not. You're not at all.
That was stupid. I'm sorry, Spiff. That was not a smart plan. At least Ambi gets res back, so he won't be able to go DB node again, but since you have Thunderbird in play, he should be able to heal up to max HP if he does have access to those gumball machines. They're spattered throughout the bomb site, just like the players in this lobby have been spattered all around, because it's quite an interesting turn of events. Emergence back on top once again. Reese, where has this round gone?
I'm not sure, but it looks like a pretty well-needed one in from Emergence as they're looking to snap that streak from Surf. Nacho finds himself as the last. Is that a decent game so far, as the stats would tell you, but let's check in on his play itself. Flashbang goes up, provides a good distraction, and I think it muffles the sound of the plant. A second flashbang as well. Definitely trying to clutter it up here, as now the case is successful. And Emergence are going to start to back off. Nacho fails to catch one as he just skirts the edge of the railing. And here comes the Alibi looking for the move. Nacho is going to try to ninja it, but he's not getting anywhere with that move as Perplexed, waiting prone on the other side of the counter, pops up for a quick finisher to put Emergence at 3-4, only 1 round down.
That was a roller coaster, I think, is the way of describing that, Reese. I mean, it starts off with that beautiful headshot. That's Warrior who falls, and then all right, Emergence, their execute's going to stall. They won't really be able to achieve map control. They lost Sophia. That's going to be one of their best entries. And then Asian is traded quickly through a set of nades. Son of Finn, DB knows 1, baits on the, I don't even know what you even call that, the exterior portion of the map. And
Ruins?
that works. It works. You know why it works, Reese? Because Surf is so aggro that they aren't really thinking about that there could be somebody outside in ruins. That's the thing, is that only works if you have a team that is kind of like the 405 freeway here in Southern California, with players going back and forth, up and down the coast the entire time, and that's what Surf was doing. They're just rotating so much, almost like this swirling locomotion, that they just kept walking into the gun barrel of Finn. And while that's not necessarily on paper a sound attacking strategy, it worked for Emergence because it punished Surf for not minding windows.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned. I actually just went to the coast the other day.
Oh, very nice.
It was very nice. It was glad to get away from the valley. But the valley of rounds that Surf had built up around Emergence has started to come down a little bit. And EMG are looking to maybe put it at equal. Coastline, where are we right now with talking about defenders, attackers?
I don't know at this point because of the deathmatch meta.
Right.
And it's for the exact reasons why that round was lost by Surf. They're so aggressive, they either just eviscerate, they kind of just, I don't know, evaporate from the server, that it's hard to say, ooh, who's better, attackers or defenders? Well, it really comes down to who's hitting their shots and who's the most aggressive. And I don't know, it almost feels not like Rainbow sometimes. It feels kind of like CS, where CS is kind of a deathmatch sometimes with nades, flashes, and smokes.
Well, for Emergence, they've got a solid chunk of map control. Did somebody just drop into the courtyard? That's kind of an aggressive play from Surf, and they have a Z-ping on it as well, but it looks like Notch manages to get away back to the safety of the gun barrel of Perplex, as he did not live long. He was kind of sandwiched in that jungle area. I don't know where Spiff had came from. I suppose maybe he was still hiding inside of Sunrise, as another player, Ambi, spotted behind the counter inside of the kitchen area. Asian is looking for one through the vertical. He should be able to find an Emergence member, but doesn't seem like... No, I think Emergence have all moved beyond the angles that would be susceptible to this vert. Warrior will double back as he's looking for a player inside courtyard. The ambiguity of the mute is something that Surf could use to their advantage, or it could, if well paid attention to, benefit Emergence in a slower pace, and it will. Asian is found out up above, and now Ambi gives away his position. It's a familiar setup for the defense, with one left to arrive. Back inside of this service bathroom area, Warrior keeping Ambi at bay, and we all know around the threshold of the door, 150 bullets on one side, Talon against the other. There's no way you're making it out of that tomb.
That is the worst place to be as a P10 Neroni. Now nerfed down to, what, 15 bullets in a magazine? And an LMGE with 150?
Literally
You're just
15
not gonna win
times.
that. Yes. Plus, you have the 180 degree crossfire, as you mentioned. I mean, you're kind of just in a bad spot. And that bad spot was kind of the motif for the round for Surf, Reese, because they just put themselves in bad spots. Like, they're spawn peeking, they're breaking windows, they just put their forehead in the middle of the window and then just die. And that was the defending strategy of Surf, because Emergence just were given these free kills. Now, I like that there was moments of brilliance from Team Surf. We saw Asian playing above on vertical holes, trying to deny blue. That was a great play and didn't really pay dividends. But Emergence seems to be able to shoot back just as well as Surf. And that's concerning if you're a fan of Surf, because that has been the bread and butter of Surf for a very long time. And if Emergence is able to do those gunfights as well as you, well, then that means Emergence, the team with more strategy, with more practice, might be able to start to edge you out in a few of these rounds.
Yeah. But I imagine Surf eventually are going to, like, calm down, and they're going to be realizing that if they keep sending Spiff out of the towel's door, or have a player on a bar somewhere out in the open, it's not going to work. And if you give Emergence those freebies, they're going to convert them. And it's great that we have a team that can convert the freebies, because I have seen, man, some matches where the teams get everything to go their way. They get so many advantages, but they just can't capitalize on them. Surf will try to spawn peek again. It's Nacho. SMG from big window. Not a fight often won by that machine pistol. Is Talon, who has been kind of a monster this game on Coastline. He's the opening death now, and we have only the bloodstain in ruins to presume where his body fell.
Okay. I try to approach all of these games from an analytical perspective. I really can't do that when you've had the entire Emergence roster, other than two, tied to the same big window challenge. Like, just stop peeking it. Stop being there. Like, they're just... I don't know. I don't know what to make of this, Reese. Like, it's not like quite like Troll R6, but
it's getting there.
Yeah, it's getting there. But at least we're being demonstrated some beautiful mechanics, and that's what I like to see. Like, it is just a flexing of how many hours you spent in aim labs and a dehunt.
Cordell stepping in, fortunately misses a window for a possible kill there against Nacho. You just worry. When Cordell is sitting here, yeah, here comes Nacho. Excuse me, it was actually Asian Mute who was in the bars area. It always gets a little confusing with some of those SAS outlines Perplex is sort of baiting for a kill up by the skylight. Not something that you can really do as successfully as you would have in the past where the map buff came to this sunny coastline. Time running low. Perplex is going to sort of try to upset Asian in this back corner, but he takes a helping of lead from Spiff, who peeks out to the blue bar window. Cordell on a massive puts it in for a third. Asian down. Jaeger exposed. Perplex fails to complete on the gunfight, and Spiff is getting blasted at through the wall, but Cordell just millimeters off target, and that mistake will allow Spiff to work the kill. Cordell's leaping over the bars like it's some kind of Olympic event, and Spiff has his pistol out as Cordell will walk through the Malusi's Banshee. An impact grenade nearly eliminates Cordell wholesale, but even still, Cordell is up in this fight, and he is just living and thriving amongst the chaos. He gets the case down. Spiff moving through Aquarium as the barbed wire in his way. A flashbang in the pocket, Cordell's last piece of utility, but Cordell baiting as he has only 4 bullets left inside of his entire magazine count, and Spiff from downtown. What a round that was.
Cordell, the newest addition to Emergence, Reese. He replaced Wanda Swan only 3 days ago, and he finds himself in the quad, nearly getting the ace. That was a beautiful run from Cordell. What a strong play from him. Unfortunately, it's in packless kills because they don't take away their round victory. This series is just gnarly. It's ridiculous. Like, Surf had the man advantage by a mile. 3 opening kills, we'll call it, because that's truly what they were. They compound 3 kills from the big window, and then they throw it to a 1v1, and Cordell goes nuclear. Yeah, Surf, your aggression, it pays off, and then it doesn't. Like, why is Nacho the Smoke the one YOLOing down the Vibe stairs to peek Cordell? Like, you're peeking Cordell. He shoots back, clearly. It's just a nice sprinkling, I guess, of troll salt. I don't know.
Is that a official term? Troll salt?
I'm grasping. At this point, yeah, man.
Like pixie dust, but like troll version?
Yes, exactly. It's pixie dust, but it's the troll version from Siege, where people just forget that it's Siege and not like CS:GO.
Well, if there's one thing you can say, Surf have played a fairly even game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody is going super negative. Son of Finn has had, you know, it feels like he's closer towards the line of having a stinker game than a, you know, UNT versus UGA Black in the Collegiate R6, or not even Collegiate R6, in the Rainbow Six Collegiate Championship preseason game. I don't think you were there for that. I did reference it once when I was casting with Corback, but Son of Finn dropped like 20 kills or something on a cafe. And I've been holding on to that energy for Son of Finn for a little while, but he has not quite lived back up to it yet. But the support player, all good and well, did not be doing, you know, LeBron numbers. But Emergence, who are we picking as their entry? Because I've seen Jimmy Talon make some 3-pointers. Cordell has been like a lifetime flex player, and more like flex support and flex entry.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, maybe we talked about, like, when we were going, before we actually hopped into the series, we talked about the flexibility of Finn as an IGL to kind of find the strengths of individual players and kind of bring them out of their comfort zone and welcome them to, like, new roles in the team. Maybe that's where we see Cordell stepping away from flex support to maybe something more of an entry. Well, he's not entering in this round. Actually, Emergence is nowhere to be seen, Reese. They attempted to enter the building, but it is just lights out for them. I don't even think they stepped more than a meter into the building. I mean, what happened? Wait, Emergence? Hello?
Yeah, I mean, come on. How you gonna let Ambi break your ankles like that and put Surf Esports on match point? Coastline, not the game we expected. I don't even really think it matters that we didn't see the first half anymore. The second half has told me everything that I need to know. Surf Esports are just chilling out. For some of you who don't know what's been going on with them recently, Surf Esports kind of feels like they're almost in that Mystic category, right? Of like they have a new roster every 2 or 3 weeks. But to be fair, that's like every team in T3 at the moment. There's a lot of players moving between roster to roster, but this situation, specifically Surf, are pugging, but I was told, Chief, they're gonna bring some strats in. Somebody has given them some strats, and they're gonna be dry running after this game. Now, I don't know, that's like sort of one of those things where you just say, you know, oh, I'll clean my room later, I'll just do it after I watch the football game. Like, Surf Esports, is the dry run really gonna happen? Maybe, probably not, but it could. And they told me, so if you're trusting what Ashen told me, there you go.
10 seconds to go.
I just can't get over the fact that you said Surf dry running with strats. Like, that's like saying a collegiate roster is scrimming. That just doesn't happen.
Period.
Like, it's an oxymoron at this point, even though Grand Canyon's currently scrimming ASU right now. So, it's a
We have
once-in-a-lifetime
the scrim GG
opportunity. Yeah.
on that one. I'll have to chat
I
about
have to
it
get the
later.
plug in there every so often.
Ugh,
All right.
well,
Uh-oh. Hold on. Is there a rush?
could
Is
be.
this gonna be a... Finn, don't die to this, though. Your rush stalls if you die to this peak.
no,
Oh
Warrior.
my god!
Oh,
Hit
Warrior!
your shots! Warrior! I see why he got spot peeked earlier.
Warrior had to fight his demons for that kill. He was just jumping up and down. Looks like he gets rezzed by the adrenal surge from Perplex before Surf, hungry as ever for the kill that they are, can get a toxic babe out of that door to confirm the kill. Asian is preparing for a peek from Towels. It looks like they're going to make sort of a distraction play, but Asian, unfortunately, the barricade kind of has a bunch of debris that falls. I thought they had fixed that, but apparently not. And Son of Finn has got another kill to stack up as well. All it seems like this game is whoever can make the most successful, aggressive multi-kill play first, and they win the round, right? Like, if Ambi just obliterates you, the Surf round is there, or if Emergence have the Warrior special, Nacho's dead, Asian is left, Talon is down. They're gonna get the plant here. I don't even know where Asian is at in the moment. He looked like he went over to grief Talon inside the courtyard, confirmed the kill, but it cost him his life. Yep, there it is. There it is.
Warrior, please hop out of all chat. You do not have the right to drop it easy after potatoing 75 bullets in your 150 box magazine. You lost that one, Chief. You can't be doing that. Okay. I want to echo what you said, Reese, because you are accurate. It's the series of who gets 3 kills in a row wins the round. Like, there's no strategy. At least Finn's attacks have yet to show me a comprehensive, well thought out strategy. And if it's a gun go burr as your main strat, then okay, I guess. But it's really just who wins and who loses gunfights. Like, it's really that black and white right now.
Yeah, we don't normally get to check in on this, but I did want to say a quick shout to DAL, the Digital Athlete League. They rated us after their stream. Hope you enjoyed that one. We're having some fun here as well in this quarterfinals game where Surf are just doing the most. And looks like Ambi caught a little bit of buckshot. Better get out of the way. Are they going to res him? It looks like they will. No, maybe they won't. Oh, they're going to kill him with the C4. They're going to, like, throw it at him. Or not, I guess.
What is going on?
Ashen is literally listening to the stream. He just told me that yes, strats are coming. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about this one, then I don't know what does.
Oh, this is so frustrating.
This is a classic. This is going to be one of those games that we remember, right? You've got Penta versus Evil Geniuses. The reverse
There's
sweep,
no
you've got...
way you're making a correlation between the greatest games of I almost said Rocket League. The greatest games of Rainbow Six Siege and this abomination.
You just don't know what a good game looks like. And Warrior doesn't know what the inside of Hookah looks like, as Spiff has managed to sneak his way onto Vigil. Who knows who made that call, but he's doing the most so far, and Warrior has just gotten blasted. Here's Ambi from the pink bar window. Looks like Surfer ready for a quick clean up, another plan in mind, though. Here's Perplexed for the Sunrise entry push. He'll obliterate the hold below, but Asian on a shotgun jump out makes it back in the building, or perhaps not even yet. Asian, what's he doing? He's going on the full rotation. Oh, no. He doesn't quite know yet. He's going back and forth. They got an EE1D. Asian, I don't think it really matters, dude, if you're outside in the
Just
EE1D.
plant the bomb! You know where he is! You're permanently wall hacked right now!
I've never seen a game quite like this one. Is Asian back in the building yet, or is he
Yes,
like...
he is.
He's below. He's working the vert, as you always expect. And, uh-oh, danger zone for Cordell. Better win that fight before Asian gives you the opportunity. Oh, run for cover. Grenade on the position, and a second as well, as Emergents are doing the most to keep Asian away from CV. He'll finally step up, but Cordell has got the shield, he's got the doorway, he's got the angle, and he's got, most importantly of all, the kill.
Okay, now that's overtime. What do I say other than it happens? Like, Asian's outside for 35 seconds at that point. I don't know. This is strange. This is just weird. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. I'm broken. I think that's where I'm at. My 3 brain cells have Alt F forward at this
It's
point.
actually kind of a surprise that your 3 brain cells have survived for this long, right? Because I feel like you've been saying that since we were back at Siege Cardinal League. Did you get like get like an implant once a month? Like they'd swap out the old ones and give you the new ones?
Attackers need to
Meiosis mitosis, my friend.
bombs if they can.
So they
You know, I didn't
die and
pass
then they come back.
biology.
I can tell.
Attackers have discovered the location
Well,
of the bomb.
I'm no crow. I'm no scientist. I can't, list off the elements or
The
have
elements.
deep thought conversations about the.
What's your favorite element?
I feel like uranium's a solid one.
A good choice.
It's a smart choice.
Yeah? Alright.
We do have actually a scientist with us today.
We do.
Not in the talking sense, but behind the screen.
Whose favorite
Our
element is
producer.
cobalt?
Yeah, our producer Tango. He says Cobalt is the choice, and I trust him on that one. Just as much as I trust that Surf Esports are going to close out these next 2.
Well, I'll name the next newfound element as they slam particles together against the roster that wins the series. I think I've earned that right, clearly, as not a scientist or particle accelerator aficionado. But back to reality. Emergence. You need to just, like, chill a bit. Stop solo peeking. If Asian just kind of bullies you in this opening kill, well, try to get a refrag. Or, I don't know, stop just sitting out. You've lost 2 attackers to mudroom door. That's not good.
It's kind of a miracle R6 that this game has even got into overtime. If you really think about it. I suppose that's down to the fact that Surfer peeking everything, right? So you have a chance that you just lose the fight like that. What is Warrior doing in Courtyard? He's like, man, I'm tired of Surf. They've been peeking from Sunrise like the whole round. So I'm just gonna kind of just go in through the main door and shoot you. And Surfer back to 3 versus 3. Ashen seems to have made the connection about this player in the Courtyard, but it's actually Ambi who guns him down, and now it's second. Is that even through the wall? I don't know how Ambi just hit that vac shot, but Son of Finn is left as the last one I mean, how much utility have we seen the attackers use this game? Like, really, there's been none. Oh, here
There's
we go.
utility! There's utility!
Nice. Nice.
What is the point of that, Finn? Like, you gotta explain that. You gotta sell me on that decision-making process there. Okay, Reese. 60 seconds left. Asian is low HP. And I can't even finish the sentence. I was about to sell you kind of a fairy tale.
Oh,
And
my.
the red dot warrior, the gym heavy lifter, slams Finn.
Warriors on Finn's team, though.
No, Asian's the gym rat. Is Warrior also a gym rat?
But you said Warrior.
Well, he's okay, yes, you're right, okay. But no, Warrior is just Warrior. He's not the red dot warrior.
We have a telegram coming in from Ashen, who, as I mentioned, is watching the stream. And he said this is Asian's second time using the SMG-11. Only
That's
his
cap.
second time.
That's
And
cap.
people are dying to it.
That's cap.
I don't know. I mean, I believe it. Asian is not an SMG-11 player. Like, he's the one where you can say, like, I'm going to use Ash Yeager every time, and you just can't argue.
To locate and defuse bombs.
I'm
Maybe in a
messaging him right
comp
now.
game is his second time. I feel like I would side with you as well. Like, doesn't seem like that's physically possible, but
Like, no, there's no way you can tell me it's his second time using SMG-11 because he's played Sledge, and Sledge players will crush the SMG-11 in close quarters. Like,
Yeah, you're
that's
right.
cap, Asian.
cap alert.
Cap
The alarm
alert.
is sounded. We've got some false info. Come on, Ashen. You can't be talking to the casters and giving us falsehoods.
You can't lie to me like that. All right. You know what? Well, look, Emergence has listened to me. Do you remember back in, what was that, round 3, where they just get smoked over on their office's hold because they didn't put a deployable shield there? There's now a deployable shield there. They've set up cover, so if they defend that spot, they can now have safety. Call it OSHA. Because you'll pass. Okay. And also, a miracle that Surf hasn't died and dropped 2 attackers over by Mudroom, which is, again, was a perplexing portion of the Emergence offense in the previous round, the first round of OT, which I've almost glanced over that we're in OT.
All right. Well, the play into Sunrise has kind of been rebuked. That's a vocab word. Rebuked. I didn't even remember that. I didn't even prep that. I just came up with it there. But Emergence have a 4 versus 3. They're trying to hold out. The Ying has gone down. Asian is stuck for a moment in the Banshee, but he pre-fires at head level, and that'll give Emergence a second thought about trying to peek him. You never want to challenge Asian, who is one of the best players mechanically to ever play in Unified. And then he dies to Cordell. And that's just the way of the world. Cordell's gonna barricade it. I thought maybe the run out would be the more aggressive of 2 options and the more likely. But Emergence, what they're doing here is they're just bunkering down, Chief. They want to win. They want to get to this next round of overtime. They don't want to be in the next Ashen Ambi duo montage that's coming out in theaters near you. As Ashen is preparing for it, he's looking to get ready. Toxic Vape will send him back.
Okay. Emergence. Gotta bring yourself to round 15 overtime. You have man advantage. You don't have a lot of utility left. You only just have that smoke toxic gas grenade. Well, what you do have is a very low Ashen and a mediocre Ambi, at least HP-wise. He still is about 75. Ashen now drops. DP a note. He can still be rezzed from outside, though. As time dwindles, and so will the roster count of Surf. They end up dropping round 14, Reese. We're guaranteed to see round 15. And ladies and gentlemen, whoever wins this show, win Coastline. 1 round to be crowned the kings and queens of Coastline on this most incredible series of events.
bizarre, maybe.
Bizarre. I don't even. I've broken as a human. I have gotten confirmation from Asian, by the way, that he is, quote, I'm horrible with it. Never referring to using the SMG-11. And he says he always uses MP5K over it. So
Huh.
that is some real-time reporting, ladies and gentlemen. Sky
Sorry.
News.
Doubted him. I just got a message from Ashton as well. He says, not false info. So.
Mm-hmm. I still call it cap on that, though.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs.
I think in a more... I don't even know, like, what word to describe that. Like, we're just gonna move on.
No, okay. Here, actually, I have a philosophy question for you, and it's not too far off. Now, it's no secret that guns have had some recoil changes, controversial. We won't talk about the controversy aspect of the recoil changes the devs have gone through. But if you can use an SMG-11, doesn't that mean you can kind of use like the R4C, M762? And why I'm bringing this up because Ashen does still run R4C and is a menace on R4C. And while that gun doesn't quite have as much recoil as the SMG-11, he's a competent enough player to be able to pull down on his mouths with very little recoil. So I would be shook if he wouldn't be able to be competent with it.
So what's the question?
I guess there was a question aspect of that. Do you think that's actually a true statement? Like, if you can use the R4C?
Yeah. I think the problem is Siege doesn't have predictable recoil. It's random. And so
Yeah.
you can't, like, learn the spray pattern. You can learn how much you have to pull down, like, on average, but it gets a little unpredictable, and it's far away from, you know, something like CSGO where you can, you know, learn the pattern and replicate it every round and not have, you know, those moments. But I guess you do have what's called being CSGO'd, where you think you're gonna shoot somebody and it like looks like you should, but it's just randomly it doesn't. And Emergence might win this map, which I would not have expected in any category. Asian and Ashen are gonna have to come back hugely, and I suppose Emergence's playing passive in the previous round has kind of worked out to their own. Asian has got a drone. Warrior is on a monster streak, finally put down by Asian. But the Mute and the Jaeger are going to have to clutch up huge, and it's just not going to happen. Son of Finn for one in the second. Emergence take Coastline. I said it was going to have to be a win on your own map pick and click through to the decider scenario. But no. Emergence take Coast 8-7. What a shocker.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a map that we will probably always remember. The shenanigans on Coastline. That was all over the place, Reese. I mean, I said it, there's really no unifying strategy. I mean, I don't think the better team won. I think the teams were very even. I think that is shown by the round 15. I mean, it just came back to who shot back the best or who made the most mistakes in those swings. And I do truly believe that Surf made the most mistakes in those very aggressive gunfights. I mean, let's talk about Spiff running out through a mudroom. I mean, that just epitomizes everything that Surf Esports were doing. They were just, like, I don't know, Popeye eating spinach and taking gunfights. And Emergence, they actually slowed themselves down. They started to play well. They started to bait some of those windows, those doors, and Surf was happy enough to sail right into the gun barrel.
Well, with that shocking result out of the way, could it be a possibility that we have another shocking result and that this series goes to Emergence, the 4 seed, compared to their opponent, Surf, the 1st? We'll have the answer to that question, as well as a lot of other ones I am certain of, as we come back from a short break. It's Chalet, an old UPL classic, coming up after this break.
सागरे गपगरे गपधा पगरे गा सारे
We've returned with the UPL quarterfinals. Team Surf versus Team Emergence, and the upset of the century, Reese, has already taken place in round 15. Emergence beat Surf on their own map of Coastline. There was plenty of trolling, I think, between both rosters, and are we now going to see something more structured, more normal, or am I going to be ripping my hair out at the end of the game?
Oh, you're going to be ripping some hair out. You're going to need a wig for the next broadcast that you do, because nobody wants to see a bald chief. But more importantly, yeah, map number 1, we literally had Ashen and Asian 2. I think both of them were like listening to the cast. Emergence, I don't think are listening to the cast. At least they haven't signaled us if they were. But a little bit of Troll R6 on the first map by design. Of course. Don't get me wrong on that at all. We're into Chalet, and Surf have banned Thatcher? Mira. Emergence have banned Jackal Jaeger. That is... I don't even want to call it rare, because that makes it seem like this is like a game with normal, like, play that's, like, matters in some historical context or something. Like, Emergence have just banned Jaeger, and it's probably because they want to throw a bunch of grenades at Surf who are going to be peeking everything.
Most likely. The thing is, why would you, as Emergence, the quote-unquote more structured team, the quote-unquote team bringing in more strategy, the team that has more preparation, banning Jaeger? I actually personally like Jaeger bans. I think Jaeger is a hill that a lot of attackers like to die on because, to be blunt, they suck at dealing with utility and they suck at burning ADSs, especially now after the changes. I'm going to be honest with you, Reese. I think the changes to Jaeger, with them now resetting, is a massive buff. Because if you're a team that cannot burn an ADS and it resets after you've expended utility, good luck ever opening up any wall or using utility, because you're just going to lose nades to those ADS. So, going back to my point, you're Emergence. You're a structured team. You're a team that should be well versed in burning utility and playing together. Why are you removing Jaeger and removing those ADSs from play? Because now the team that is less structured than you, your opponents, Surf, have access to just hot lobbing nades downrange and moving you, or killing you. Now they don't have to burn ADSs. Now you've given them an avenue to play less structured, just like they were on Coastline, and continue just to kind of take these gunfights. This seems like a ridiculous ban to me.
Can we get a shout out for Karma, who is the director of Surf in NA? Can we get a shout out for him? I see him in chat, that's why I said that.
That's nice of you to shout people out.
No, I'm just a nice guy. I'm nothing like you. I don't ever talk bad about teams.
Well, you know what? Since we were shouting out Surf, I'll shout out Jesus from Emergence, the owner, the CEO.
Oh, really? I've never talked to any of the org people at Emergence before.
Yeah.
Cool. There's always got to be somebody. Can't have
Really?
anarchy.
Thank
I know,
you
right?
for that
Like,
contribution.
what an astute contribution. But,
Indubitably.
I mean, you don't think about the people behind the org. right? Like, I
That
was
is
an org
true.
owner once, or an org person.
My condolences to that org.
Oh, yeah. No, it didn't go nowhere.
You know what? Spiff isn't going anywhere either, Reese, as they're the opening death. Now, fortunately, you haven't lost a nitro cell because Malusi doesn't have a nitro cell anymore, and the bulletproof cameras is probably already placed somewhere on the map. And you know who didn't get banned? Your favorite operator. There's a Valkyrie in play, and I'm sure that's providing information, but information may not be the problem of the Surf defense. It's the longevity and their ability of their mates to actually survive past the halfway mark.
Well, Ashen is on the Valkyrie, my favorite operator. I feel like she's not really my favorite anymore. What I'm wanting to see is Osa, how Osa's going to shake things up when she gets in. So we had her in First Blood a couple times, but that like didn't really count. That was like sort of against the rules when it happened. But I
was
want to see
just
what
flexing.
the Poison Callum Keegan Mr. P Osa strat is. 'Cause I haven't seen him play her in ranked when I tune into his streams. But despite the fact that Emergence had the opening kill and began the round in great form, they have done nothing really with it since. As the dynamic combo of Ashen and Asian are ripping it up. And Son of Finn's out on the ego rappel. He's just waiting. 30 seconds left. He's just waiting. Just hanging out here. He's going to drop a flashbang down. That'll get some work done. Looks like he's trying to hide the audio cue. Ashen has a C4. It's not pre-placed as Son of Finn hops in from the balcony. Son of Finn is going to pull out the bearing 9. He wants to get as many shots on that first player that he spots. Drops down. Asian was hiding. Had come through the reinforcement. And that'll be all she wrote in the first round of Chalet.
Best SMG 11 player in A currently. Okay. I think we're going to see Surf tone things down a bit. That was the most controlled round from Surf that we've seen all day. A little bit aggro. Still a little bit of that extra spice with the aggro swing of Spiff up the basement stairs, the opening death of Chalet. But Surf did actually an excellent job of being very calm and cool and collected. They held their bomb site, they held upstairs, and they forced Emergence to truly fight for map control. And they also, they being Surf, were aggressive, but tactfully, and aggressive with utility from those, or aggressive with information from those Valkyrie counts. And that was not just Surf swinging and YOLOing gunfights like they were doing on Coastline. That was Surf making calculated decisions. Somebody said in chat earlier, well, Surf just lost because they were trolling on Coastline. Well, they most certainly were trolling. That's still not an excuse. I mean, Surf lost, and that's just quantifiable fact. Now, it looks like they're starting to take things maybe just a bit more seriously.
Yeah, I wouldn't be so hasty to say that. I have a feeling that they might just hear you say that, and they're going to make you look like a fool. They're going to continue to play
Please
aggressive.
don't, Ashen.
Look, there's no bargaining here, Chief. You don't get to decide what happened.
Hey, that's a rare thing. That's the last time you're ever going to see a Valkyrie camera outside, at least existing the whole time, because tomorrow,
you're right.
the 30th, the new season comes out. So the change is all cameras placed exterior, which includes Mozzie drones, bulletproof cameras, Meister cameras, or Valkyrie cameras, they will die after 10 seconds. So, ladies and gentlemen, say goodbye to Valkyrie cam. Actually, let's take that back. Players in your ranked game will be still yeeting Valkyrie cameras outside. It's
Yeah,
not
I was
going away.
gonna say that. Like, people are gonna throw them out for like the first couple of weeks until they eventually like realize that you're not gonna be able to do that anymore, and then maybe you tack on like an extra month for my elo, because people don't learn when you play in gold on console. Ashen is the opening casualty. He will not have the same prowess that he did in the first round. In number 2, Surf will have to go without him. And I haven't really seen much value out of that Jaeger ban, it feels like, so far. Emergence haven't had any extraordinary grenade kills. Ambi is preparing to jump out. If perhaps he had the gumption, he could have gotten the kill. Asian will avenge the death of the Valkyrie. SMG-11 on the Perplex. Finka is down for the count. And Emergence will not be able to use the newly buffed operator's presence to excel their push. That's definitely a weird Surya gate.
but it makes sense. Like, that's a common place for attackers to take map control. That was also not a common decision that Ambi should have made there.
Ambi just like
Aggro.
walked around the corner like he was just
Playing T-Hunt?
yeah, like he was. He was just playing T-Hunt.
Sven, what are you looking at? Your teammates were just in that area! That was just not the play to make, my friend. Okay. 2v2. Plenty of time to work with. But Nacho's rotated up. That was what Finn was scared of. Now, Emergence has full access to the bomb site, but they don't have actually full control of the basement. It's now just all on Talon, a 1v1, but it all eyes back over to Nacho, the holder of that golden goose, the diffuser.
Oh ho. That could be the trump card. Talon, the grenade. Pops it, he's going for a little bit of a knife bait. Oh, he recovers the case. That was a little snatch and grab from Talon. Nacho does not have the C4, does not have the vertical. Oh, Talon, he gets off the plank. Great baiting skills there from Nacho. Talon is going to adjust. He's running for cover. He's going to try to make it all the way across. It's like Lewis and Clark in the expedition for Talon. Nacho rounds the corner, spots it, pops it. Surf, round 2.
Well, I guess instead of discovering the West, Lewis and Clark discovers a headshot with an SMG-11. All right. Is it fair to classify that as Surf being more controlled, methodical, or are they YOLO still?
I don't know. See, because like on one hand, was it
Excluding
Ambi?
Ambi's bot walking.
Okay. So if
take
I
away the
can't
bot
count
walk-
that, if I can't count that, Surf played. I don't know. They were okay. They were a little aggressive. It feels like you can't really do the same things you do on Coastline on Chalet. Like, let's count them up: aquarium balcony, towels door, hookah door, service door, main door, VIP door. Like, you got a lot of areas you could just walk on out and find attackers. On Chalet, you got, like, the ego door. People don't really do that. There's almost always a claymore. You have to, like, hide around the corner. Like, it's not really possible. West Main, like, you got the window. Sometimes you'll peek out of that. The bathroom window is just about as popular for spawn peeks as it was on the old Chalet. People were always peeking out of that, and it's still true to this day. Library, like, you'll get that run out for the snowmobile breach, but, you know, Coastline is just like, you can do anything you want. It's like Coastline has no laws at all. People go there and they just
Wild
do what
West.
they want. And Chalet is like, this is a map for professionals, all right? Like, you can't be doing that. Maybe not so much as, like, on Clubhouse or Oregon, where, like, if you run out, people are immediately, like, in Twitch chat, you're trolling, stop trolling. And there's the bathroom window.
I was waiting for that. It took 3 rounds. Imagine if you could jump out of these solar windows. Like, it would most certainly happen. Wow, Emergence. 30 seconds in. Cordell and Warrior are off. Cordell was one of your big fraggers from the previous map. I mean, Cordell had an Apple 4K, almost the ace to win a round for Emergence. It didn't quite go his direction. And Warrior was another player that was critical in round wins. And ironically, Warrior was the one that was spawn peaked the most on Emergence, and that storyline continues. Talon falls once again. Emergence, my goal for you is to actually enter into the building. Like, it is kind of Rainbow Six Siege. You do have to eventually, you know, have your siege towers work and walk into the building.
Emergence maybe missed out on that lesson.
It's a hard lesson to learn.
Ashen, the C4 from the big window. Grenade in response. Asian can't get out of the way quick enough. I think Perplex thought there was maybe a run out coming from the trophy area. I think it will move through the basement. Gonna come in from the trench. Try to surprise some of the Surf members. I don't think you really have time to go all the way up from library. With 1 minute and 20 and the diffuser literally on the rooftop? Like, yeah, Perplexed is just... He's just being a little hound down in the basement, seeing if he can get any freebie pickups. Diffuser still on the rooftop, adorned by the guns as well. Perplexed is just... He's like teaching the class on how to learn Chalet. Like, okay, so now we're gonna drone the bar. Now we're inside fireplace. We're gonna go up the main stairs, see if there's anyone at chimney. Maybe think about eventually getting that diffuser back. Hey, Perplex just needs to get in and start killing people. Looks like somebody jumped out from the bathroom window. This is looking like a third Surf round beyond. Well, you know, I will say that. Look at how Surf are all at this door waiting for the peak. Looks like one spotted. Oh, could have been there for Perplexed. He won the first, but couldn't get the last two, as it was that dastardly MPX. And he had just the weapon to do it as well, Chief, with the LMG.
Did you see what Bandit was doing, removing the Bandit battery off the playable shield in that sequence? That was actually very winnable. Like, if he won the secondary gunfight, Bandit in that animation probably would have died behind that shield. It doesn't go that way because, well, Emergence left the former UGA player, collegiate player, just by himself. I mean, there's just no explanation that you can justify to me that Cordell and Warrior dies on a spawn peak. Like, if you aren't checking windows, if you aren't pre-setting up drones to gather information when a window is being broken, that's on you, Emergence. And Emergence, from Coastline to Chalet, they just look surprised Pikachu'd whenever they get spawn peaked. Like, they just don't do anything with it. Like, they don't put themselves up for success. Maybe run an IQ. Thankfully, IQ is now present.
Yeah, I felt like maybe that could have came a little earlier. Maybe just...
I mean, the thing is, like, that dialogue comes with you win your first match, right? If you win round 15 in overtime, that doesn't necessarily mean that you were the better team. You were the better team in that round. And it was way too close for Emergence the whole time. Like, that's a dialogue that you have. Why is he dead?
Poor Warrior. Man, Warrior has had a real rough one today. He's died in like a dozen opening fights where he gets spawn peaked. Like, maybe that's exaggerating a little bit, but Warrior keeps getting
let me go back
blasted.
to my notes. And
We're going back. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen.
he was the opening death 4 times in the first half of Coastline. The first death of Emergence was Warrior. 4 times. That's unacceptable. He has now been the opening death 2 times in a row here on Chalet.
First half of Coastline, we didn't really see the
First half. Sorry, so I didn't take... So that means the rounds 2 through 5, he was the first death.
Wow.
No, wait, we didn't even see round 2. That means the 4 rounds in a row on Coastline, he was the opening death.
Shocker. Oh, Jimmy Talon for 2! Emergence have a big play brewing here on Bar Gaming. Spiff. He's got the UMP. He's just draining the magazine. Headshot on a Talon. No 3-piece for the Sledge. Limits it to 2. G8 from Cordell, though. I mean, man, I just always count the G8 against the... such a slow-firing weapon, but Cordell puts the LMG on his back. Attempts to plant C4 through the hole. Detonates, does nothing. Spiff rotating through the head. The pixel, the son of Finn on the back stairs is just so slim. And that's Emergence for their first attacking round on Chalet.
That was 4 bomb sites rotated from Surf. They start with kitchen, basement, master, and then they conclude in bar. I wonder what was the decision from going to all 4 bomb sites. Now, I know you're not a fan of the basement, and I
Honestly,
wholeheartedly agree. It's
like
it's not as bad as people make it out to be. But
I like the basement now. I
Oh,
saw it in
really?
Challenger League playoffs, and if you roam good on that site, like, I'm fine with it. I'm a changed man.
Really, you've come over to the basement now. Just depends on the team. I think that's really what it comes down to, and it comes down to your strategies. And honestly, that's a discussion we should be having with all bomb sites, right? I want maps to have four viable bomb sites. Theme Park kind of had that. Coastline kind of had that. Like we would see Lab, we would sometimes see CEO on cons. So it was maybe that's the goal for the devs, to have 4 viable bomb sites moving forward. You know what we haven't even talked about? The beautiful round from Emergence. And even with the death of Warrior, even with me losing it, they're able to overcome all odds. Great on Emergence. You're going to have to do that one more time to find yourself at a comfortable conclusion to your half, though.
Yeah, I feel like the basement site it's very similar to Labs. Like, you do not win Labs on Theme Park. Apologies if you're like a new gen and you never saw a Theme Park comp get played.
Bring it back.
Bring it back. But the way that you won that site was you didn't ever anchor. You played a really big roam, oftentimes both in the sense of like one player, maybe 2 upstairs, and almost always 1 or 2 by throne and armory. You would like open up a rotating showers, you would play castle a lot of times, very popular operator on Theme Park in general, castle. And it's very true for the basement as well. The likelihood that we'll see that, probably pretty low. But if we do, you can be sure that we'll be talking about it. Ambi walks up from the blue stairs. Or actually, not the blue stairs, from West Main. Okay. Talon, you gotta win that. Ambi has got the SMG-11. I just can't talk today. It's a T5. Come on, Reese, get it together. And he wins the fight against the Sledge, but does not live long enough to make it a second. And a notably quiet performance from Ambi. I said on Coastline that Surf had an even game. Not so much here on this map.
Sorry to interrupt you. I know that that's bad, but what is this shield? Kaz, can we go over to Library Stairs, please?
Let's see it.
No, not this shield.
This one's
That's
deep.
fire. Library Stairs. Northwest.
Oh my, it's backwards.
To be fair, actually, so perspective-wise, having that, like, pointy part of the shield is actually the way you should probably be playing most shields. Like, it actually has to do with the perspective you have. If you don't believe me, go in game and look at it between playing it. That's not what I have a problem with. It's the fact that there's 2 of them there. It's just dumb. It's stupid.
We got a little battle going on in the basement. It's a 2 versus 1. Attempted pinch against... Who was that? Asian? Won't matter now. He's dead. And he's lost his opportunity to use the toxic babes. What was that? What were you going to say?
Oh, Spiff is prone in the bar window. His
He's
cardiac
watching the
sensor out.
diffuser.
Yeah, he's waiting to vault out on the poor soul that retrieves the case, Reese. Like, what shows what is going on more than that? It's just weird.
And you got Cordell droning. He's looking. He's searching. Ashen might have a good idea here with this flank. Perplex will give away his position. I think he's a little too slow. Nope, doesn't matter. Ashen has a kill against Cordell. Perplex trying to step in. Spiff is out in the open. Can't really be doing that. Perplex does not have control of the diffuser. Ashen needs to leverage this. I don't know if taking the fight against the Finka is really the decision you want to make. Oh, but it won't matter anyway. Here goes Ashen as he just races up to the top of the stairs, gets the magazine, back in the gun, and completes the kill.
I mean, Perp is in a bad spot here, Reese. He has to make the decision. Does he go for gunfights? Does he go for kills? He goes for kills. He loses the round. Emergence won't be able to replicate their success on bar 2 rounds in a row. It was curious that Surf would decide to go to bar 2 times in a row, since that was their 4th bomb site that they were playing. They won the previous 3, but I guess Surf just wanted to have absolute map supremacy. And they will do so with that bomb site. Win. Back upstairs to Master, and again, Emergence. Their sole goal is to find this round 6 victory. And this was maybe their best bomb site, other than the one that they won, because they had decent map control, they had good gunfights, they found that opening kill in a spiff, and then they kind of stalled upstairs on that execute. So now, they have to just be more focused, and they have to guarantee this win.
I feel like you saw a different Master in Office than I did.
Oh, no, sorry, I was talking about Kitchen.
Okay.
His Kitchen was round 1. I'm trolling. You're trolling earlier the previous round. I'm now trolling the teams. Ladies and gentlemen.
I was gonna say, like, last time we had this, there was like a player who died on the rooftop, and they never got the diffuser back. Like,
No, yes. When we saw Master, this was the one where there was 3 players dead off the rip, and that was the one we started talking about Goodnight Warrior.
yeah, exactly. All right, Ashen is gonna try. Let's check the default cam. See if anyone. Oh. Ashen is getting ready. Emergents have one on the balcony. Oh, Son of Finn, he came all the way up to the top of the roof. He
Sensible.
did not. Very sensible. He did not try to come in from library. Ashen would have been there. Perplexed is the opener. Huge. You lose your smoke player, man. It just doesn't matter. We've had no utility really matter at all. This has been literally like poster boy deathmatch meta.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if I'm playing or casting Rainbow Six Siege or I'm casting Call of Duty because what are you? Why? Why, Ashen? There's no point. Okay. We've only seen a minute, Reese. And Surf has lost 3 defenders.
Look,
I
you
think
only need to
Emergence.
see a minute.
I don't know what's going on at this point, man. I'm breaking. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Unified Premiere, where Reese and I turn into...
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, there it is. There it is. Nacho, no! Loses the fight. Spiff has so many bullets going into him. Spiff trains the shot across, but Jimmy from the window puts it in to complete the round. That one nearly went a little bit sour for Emergence. Oh, my word, if they had lost that round. Well, like, you already have lost it. What, you would double lose it? Like, what even happens after that?
Triply lose it. Hey, Asia needs a sub. I'll sub in. I shoot back. Okay. Surf is no longer on defense. You know what that means, Reese? They can no longer run out. And here's the thing, though. The ban that Emergence had, their ban to remove Jaeger, that was an offensive-oriented ban, right? It's for allowing the Emergence at the time on offense to expend utility. It was absolutely irrelevant to every single round that Emergence won or lost. It was completely a meaningless ban. Those rounds would have gone the exact same way with Jaeger and the server. Now with Emergence rolling over to defense, I'm going to promise you that they're going to go with the strategy that is probably very basic, where they're playing, again, they're going to bars, so they're playing on those library stairs. There is going to be a deployable shield there, and they're just going to be, well, my pancakes, because Jaeger's banned, and Rooney's not being shown.
Maybe they just don't need a Rooney.
I mean, maybe not. The thing is, you're playing against a team that is kind of like the Powerpuff Girls, but in their creation, it was just a bunch of troll R6 mixed in and incredible gun skill. That's really what Surf Esports is. And your Emergence, and when you were made as a Powerpuff Girl, you were given a lot of strategy and a lot of premeditative thought. However, now that you go over to defense, you can't really have a strong, structured defense. It might not matter, because I think we're going to see a rush.
The classic Surrey torch open the window from Asian. Always love to see that one.
Wow!
Finally, it's Warrior, the one who finds early luck in the round and not somebody shooting him. You've got one player inside of Mudroom. That's Asian. Onto Son of Finn. He just sort of crept through. Nothing was stopping him, and the smoke will put a stop to him. Talon steps that advantage back up into the column of Emergence. 4 versus 3 as Nacho's peeping through the window, and Ambi is in the middle of Chimney! And he shoots Warrior, and gets traded out by the pistol of Perplexed. Nacho's jumping up and down like he's on a pogo stick outside the gaming window as Spiff is inside living room. He picks up the game of Ambi, suddenly sneaking into the extension to try to subvert the defensive efforts. 2 versus 2, but Nacho's drone is over in the cliffside spawn. doing a little rotation station. Has to get the drone all the way back forward. He's just moving it, gets off, moving it, gets off. It'll get over there eventually. Perplexed is still lurking upstairs. My worry is that Perplexed is too passive and Surf just jump on top of Talon below. Oh, Exothermic comes down. Perplexed has to be so purposeful with the way that he does this. They don't know. They don't know, but they should see. Without an extra defender on site, that means somebody's somewhere else. And I think Nacho has realized it as well, but he gets on his drone. Perplex adjusts the angle, starts to step forward. Oh no, but he goes back and he allows Nacho time to come back to the ready. Meanwhile, Spiff is still droning. Surf have definitely stalled out. Not something we've seen from them. They've been fast all the time as Perplex rounds the corner. Finally, the patience pays off for the kill against Nacho. And Spiff is left to try to fend him off, but Perplex is giving no quarter. Completely runs away. Spiff will leave the case upstairs. A curious decision as he tries to isolate against the smoke. Oh, but Talon moves through the door and gets the kill.
Man, if Perp didn't find that kill, if they missed their shots, they gave away their position, I think Surf wins that round. I mean, Perp's heart must have been in his throat through that series, just waiting, hoping, praying that somebody from Surf, Spiff, just walks into his gun barrel. All right. Unfortunately, it doesn't go the way that we expected it to. It's going to require quite a mountain for Emergence to climb. That is one round on defense. And once again, that analogy of the Powerpuff Girls, that troll, I mean, why is there a drone in spawn? The question is just, why are there so many strange things going on? Like, is this another unified Premier race where the higher seed team just forgets to show up in postseason?
I would hope not, because I really want that rematch between Surf and Mystic in the grand final, just like we had it last season. Not biased at all, but that would be cool, because we'd never had it before.
I wouldn't know. I was out of town that weekend.
You were, that's right.
I was playing with Vroom Vrooms.
You were racing. Oh, and you became the
No, that wasn't quite yet.
Southern. Oh, it was not.
The SoPac, yeah. So SoPac and Cow Club championships.
Yep.
Ski. No, that was one. That was the second to last race. Penultimate. That's always a fun word. One of my favorite words, penultimate.
I feel like people get it confused all the time. Like people think it
Yeah.
means last. Like I thought it meant
Second
last.
to last. Second to last.
Before the last.
Yeah. It's all penultimate's a weird word because it's ultimate, and then it's. I guess that root is the pun, or penultimate is whatever that is. The
Prefix?
first part of that word, the prefix. Yeah. What?
Shout out to all
what
my
is that
homies in
origin?
the pen.
Anyways, I digress. It's an interesting word. Anyways, we're gonna have to go back into our camp. Emergence, their defending run, their first success was in round 7. But are they gonna be able to replicate it again, Reese? Because look at what Surf is doing. They're doing, well, what Surf does best. Really odd things. They Mavericked opened the garage wall, and they're already starting to go kind of ground up. And they're finding at least one of the Emergence roamers, but the trade's pretty swift after the fact.
Did Asian kill Sonafin through the dining hatch?
I hope not.
Or was Sonafin in the basement? Hard.
I hope he wasn't in the basement.
I hope he was. That's not where your smoke should be. Smoke doesn't even have a C4 to lob up through the hatch. He's just got the toxic babes. That's not going to do much. Oh,
Yep, there he is, on site.
He was. He killed him through the hatch. I'm not sure I've ever seen that before. Asian is in West Main, and despite Cordell maybe over-adjusting the angle a little bit, wins the fight regardless. Perplexed is last alive, but we saw what happened last time. Could be another tied situation, just like it was on Coastline, actually. Where Surf Esports had a pretty solid first half, and Emergence had a little bit of homework to do when they got onto their second split. Here comes the Aruni chasing forward, flashbang against her. Perplexed can't see a thing. Full white, a second flashbang, a third, and Ashen should be able to clean up the kill. He does. And that'll be the lead, not the tie game. It's 5-3 Surf.
Okay. There we go. Surf. Their extension is continuing, and I do have a question. Is this Asian the support to her? He's been playing Smoke and Maverick.
Good point.
I do mean that seriously. Like, who is the quote-unquote support other than Nacho? Because we all know that Nacho is a true support player, finds himself in that role very comfortably. But Spiff, Ashen, Asian, and Ambi. Man, like, who would, like, out of those groups, who would be your secondary support? Asian probably would not be my first pick.
Yeah, me neither, but I feel like there's not like a conscious like choice. They use the Volcan to make the rotate. That's a classic. Even though they have Son of Finn with impacts with the revolver, with the judge. They don't need it. You're gonna use the Volcan anyway. Feels like a bit of wasted utility to me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, isn't everything in this server wasted utility at this point? Because we haven't seen utility? Is there even utility in this game?
Sometimes it doesn't seem like it, no.
Sometimes? It's a stretch. I don't
Yeah.
think we've seen utility usage. The only time that we've ever seen util are nades getting kills. And while true, that's the original design of the nades. Nades are usually... What? Is he trying to burn the Aruni gate with his Surya torch?
Listen, you don't know. You don't know the ways of the Maverick. You weren't there during the test.
You're right, I was not testing out the Surya torch on Maverick. I don't think Emergence was testing out this strat either, because it is not working. 2 opening deaths for them. Top floor control in favor of Surf, but there's a trade, but it's, again, purely in vain, Reese, as Finn and Cordell, Finn, the long-standing IGL across all iterations of Emergence, and the new superstar to Emergence, forced to deny the onslaught of Surf as they attempt to find themselves on match point.
I like that angle from Sonafin to see the player when he hops in from West Main. Oh, too bad! Asian uses the angle. And it brings him up to 11. Cordell the final. C4 toss. Oh, the Maverick. I think he shot it. Cordell doesn't matter, though. He'll get it done with the submachine gun, not before being traded out by Ambi. This time it's Surf who are on match point. It looks like potentially we could be discussing a map 3 here in this quarterfinal.
I think map 3 was guaranteed as soon as Coastline was lost. I'm going to be blunt on that one.
Yeah, all right. All right, fair. Fairs.
Because I by no means saying that Emergence is a bad team, because they most certainly are not. And, you know, if you're going to accuse me of being a biased caster one way, I mean, it is no secret that I'm good friends with Finn. So, I mean that from a place of love when I say that I think Surf, in every aspect of the game, is the better roster. I mean, if we're looking purely at, if we're trying to quantify how a team is better, we can, I don't know, look at their ranks. I mean, how many champs do you have on the side of Surf? Actually, I'm going to rephrase it. How many champ top 20s do you have on the side of Surf? 5.
Yeah, you gotta specify nowadays, because you get those, you know, number
Like Mickey champs?
1,950th champ. Like, all right, you know, does that really, like, we don't judge by rank.
No, not at all, because rank means nothing in comp, for the most part. There are some very good non-ranked players, or very good non-ranked players who play competitive. And, I mean, even look at Pro League players, they don't even play ranked all that much. Like if you look at some of the players, like some of the CSGO pros that you all follow, most of them aren't the top ranked because they just don't play ranked. They just play Face It.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many better options than playing ranked. Like, legit comp matches, like, I don't know. But I guess for that point, I'll say somebody in chat described this game. It was Badger. He said, like, this is ranked. So, you know? It's not really... I mean, I haven't seen anything to tell me that this is, like, a real comp match. Like, we've had so few rounds that have been, like, legit utility, execute, like, 3, 2, 1, go. Like, there's been just people taking gunfights. Like, look at this. Asian is in the site. He's just walked in. And Sonafin does not even know.
How
Eventually,
is he here?
Asian is gonna... The Valkyrie... Oh! Sonafin's looking the wrong way. Asian nearly dies from a team grenade. And Perplex has suddenly got to rotate back. Here's the Habana. Talon caught off guard for the angle. 4 versus 2 now as Cordell strikes the quick fire rate of the SMG and Perplexed on the Roni as well. But all of a sudden, Cordell on a sliver of HP as he is, has Ambi chasing after him. Though he wins the fight, and Asian continues taking damage. I don't know what that was from. Maybe even his own grenade. Cordell on the hatch will drop down. They have not planted the diffuser yet. Surf Esports still on the prowl. Cordell playing for the angle, but Asian hits him with the pre-fire. And we will go to map number 3. Oregon is up next as the series is tied 7-4 on Chalet. 7-3 for Surf.
Emergence. Moving forward, you cannot have Warrior be spawn peaked anymore. To me, that is just unacceptable at this point. You have to have drones staged outside windows. You have to either ban Valkyrie or consistently run IQ, and you brutally put need to be prepared for Surf to challenge windows, because they will out, they'll take gunfights, and they will do brain dead things because Surf gets away with it. Emergence, if you punish those aggressive gunfights like you did on map number 1, Coastline, Emergence can win map 3. But that is a tall win condition. They have to stifle the aggro nature of Surf.
Yeah, and map number 3, from what I recall, is actually Oregon, which is... that's interesting. Oregon, you can't be as aggressive as you were on Coastline, for example. And I would maybe even say less so you can be aggressive than a map like Chalet. So that sets up quite an interesting narrative. We'll make it work. Yeah, we made it work on Chalet. We'll be fine on map number 3, but we do have a couple things that we need to get ready. Thank you for tuning into this quarterfinals match. The decider here on Monday will be after a short break.
bottom of the ocean. I'm at the bottom of the sea. There at the bottom of the ocean. Don't know if I'll make it back home. At the bottom of the ocean. I'm at the bottom of the sea. At the bottom of the ocean. Don't know if I'll make it back home.
The Unified Premier Fall Quarterfinal is back here on this awesome Monday. We're into map number 3, and we're on to Oregon. Surf Esports just picked up a nice quick 7-3 on Chalet after Emergence had a real stinker overtime 8-7 upset on our earlier game of Coastline. Thank you for joining us. My name is Stickula. I'm here alongside Brian, Chief Cass, as we jump into this one. Surely the expectation has been set.
Yes, it most certainly has been. I mean, okay, let me define map 1 and map 2 with a single word. Huh. That's the word I'm using. Because in every single gunfight, in every single death, in every single round, I seem to constantly want to say, huh? What? Why? What is this? What's going on? Because that's all it's been. It's just like these, like, banana plays. I don't know what to make of this anymore. I have lost my cool, and I'm just hoping that our flight to Oregon, the Pacific Northwest, cools my nerves and brings us back to reality.
It's actually a pretty hot day today, so
Oh, it was very overcast and cloudy here in SoCal. Very foggy.
yeah. Well, we don't have a Jaeger ban in the veto this time, so that's a little change. So we'll get through the vetoes without any major shockers.
Just like we have to get through this series.
We've gotten through the brunt of it, I think, here, Chief.
Well,
We survived the
yeah.
little stumble we took on Coastline. We thrived on Chalet, and I don't know a third word to describe what's going to happen here on Oregon.
Well, we don't have a word to describe Oregon because Oregon hasn't happened yet. I think that's fair to say. I mean, the only thing that we've seen is Asian's new main, Maverick, has been banned. I guess.
Very surprising. You know, coming into this, I was expecting to see Thermite and Gridlock and Castle and Rook. And so, in my professional opinion, a target ban We gotta call the timeout. Get the referee on the line. That's just not acceptable.
Indubitably. Couldn't agree with you.
I'm glad
But I
that
can-
you're on the same page as I.
What I can also agree with is, thankfully, it's Oregon. You have sensible bomb sites. You have normal bomb sites. All 4 bomb sites are playable and are viable. And why I'm putting such a big emphasis on something that usually I wouldn't care about is I wouldn't put it past Surf to troll and play something like, I don't know, Double Tower on the original Oregon. Actually, that was a solid bomb site. I did truly enjoy that bomb site. That being said, I think we're going to see normalcy. I think Surf is going to realize that we had our fun in map number 1. And now if we want to go into postseason, and if we want to take home the most, or deeper into postseason, if we want to take home a decent amount of prize pool, we have to actually start to play serious. I know drones up the white stairs, that's not quite serious, but Ambi, no punishment whatsoever. And Emergence, you have somebody on the other side of the wall. Why did you take so long to swing? Ambi full control, but there's a trade from Warrior, but Ambi is now fine on the 3rd kill, forced to go to the sidearm. Thankfully, the reign of terror from Ambi has been silenced, and that only took 60 seconds.
But all the damage he did in that minute window, Cordell pops up. The Vector has got that distinct recoil pattern directly out of sight. Son of Finn, 1 versus 2, trying to play from pit. Asian has the case, could think about a plant. Oh, the headshot! Spiff spotted, the kill found, and Asian, well, he's thinking about how he can close out this 1 versus 1. Toxic Babe detonates shoulder. Bullet goes into it. That's not a great spot for the plant from Asian, but it'll close out the fight irregardless. Surf with round 1.
Spontaneous combustion on the side of Emergence, erupting faster than UGA did back in CR6. So, I mean, that's exactly what I wanted to see out of Surf. Not maybe with some more information there, but it works for them because that's exactly what we'd expect. Even Emergence was prepared. They actually had contingency plans pre-established for that level of aggression of Surf, right? We have a Grismont mine, we had barbed wire on white, and it was meaningless because Emergence was not ready for that level of aggression.
I don't know how you wouldn't be ready for that. Like, all right, that's a rare play out of the Rush folder in the strat book. Like, coming through the basement. It's not unheard of. It's not unseen. It's happened, you know, a couple times. But Emergence, when your first player dies on white stairs, all eyes on that doorway. And so if you're not watching it, if you've got a player behind the bunks that's like doodling on a notepad or playing Pokemon, like, come on, you gotta get it together. You gotta watch the area. If you see a Surf member in the building with only, 45 seconds having gone past, like, you need to be a little bit more wary of that. And perhaps Emergence, the comms got a bit cluttered. I don't know. We don't know. We can't hear. We just have our brains, and we gotta speculate. They're gonna repeat the cycle.
Don't think there was a need for that, Age. You just wasted utility. Always. Oh! That was so unfortunate. He just got timinged. That could have been completely different. Asian, once again, showing why he is a primary entry, not a support player. Dropping, well, both support players. Both hard breachers dead first for Surf. Not really what you want. I mean, you won't be able to remodel any of the bomb site, and I guess you're going to have to do what you did in the previous round. Walk up a stairwell and take gunfights.
Yeah, you're gonna have to sort of get the crowbar in, sort of crack a hole for Surf. But, Malusi with her Banshees in the way, with a toxic canister every 10 seconds. Not a whole lot of options here. Ashen knows. There was a player in the basement. I was gonna make comment on it, but it never came to be of importance. Cordell's position is understood, but Surf are kind of just waiting here. Like, they don't have a lot going for them. Ashen wants somebody to peek him. but Emergents just aren't going to. I think Cordell must know that the Flores is in this hallway position.
Okay. Does this round become normal? Does Surf just crumble away? Do they die since they don't have Diffuser? They have the man disadvantage? Or do they do what Surf does best? Hate gunfights. Win this round. Bring it back at the brink of destruction. You can see that Emergence knows they have the Diffuser down over in Shower Corner. They're starting to use some of those goo toxic mines to deny access to members of Surf. So, what round do we get here? Is it... I really don't know where we're going. That's where we're going. Ambi walks up the stairs, or flies in through the window, gets felled, as he should, and now it's all in Spiff. A 1v5 against Clutch is practically impossible. Write him off now. It's cannon fodder at this point. Emergence, just don't overpeak, play time, and you'll win this round for free.
Fortunately, Spiff having some trouble finding the goo mine. Perplex is gonna go sit on top of the Diffuser. I wouldn't do that. I don't know, you know, you give Spiff the 1v1 fights, it's not advisable. You still have the crossfire built up between Talon and Perplex, though, so you know, your chances here for Spiff is 0. And Talon will confirm the kill to tie the game. And I feel like that attack just got off on the wrong foot. That's like Shades of Chalet, or even maybe more relevant Coastline, where some rounds were just decided by the opening 30 or 40 seconds. There would be a huge fight, and whoever came out on top of that, whoever had the least casualties, would win the round.
I don't know. My brain is fried right now. Like, I can't put cohesive sentence together because I've been broken. I'm a broken caster from Coastline. I mean, Surf, it's pretty basic what I'm going to say. I mean, Surf just can't have Asian walk through showers. Like, that's just not an option for him. Like, there's nothing more to say other than stop dropping the Diffuser in dumb places. Like, again, I get that you won round 1 because you walked up the white stairs, but if you're going to play like that, at least have him droned. Like, I don't know what else to say other than that.
Well, I suppose it is our job to talk, and Surf had brought the buck. So, hey. You asked for it earlier. It was banned on Coastline. But it's not banned now. And to my credit, always got to toot my own horn, I said I thought Buck, with the second air breachers, was going to precipitate to Oregon and Clubhouse. Boom.
Oh, please don't rush again. When I see players just lined up in the basement like this, like, chugga chugga choo choo, it is a rush. That's why they brought Buck. Here we go. Tighten your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. Here's your rush.
Yep, here it comes. Nacho up first. Oh, elbows rotated, reinforced off. You can't come through. Ashen, perplexed, unfortunately finds himself the victim of the opening death. Here's Asian with a quick little Argus camera as Surf ascertain the foothold by pillars. Ambi could quickly pop open the wall, though there's still a player at Harry Potter. And that could become quite a complication if Cordell goes undroned. The Legion, your job right now, do not reveal your position, and he doesn't. He strikes on Ambi. There's nobody quick on the follow-up. The Flores, though. Oh, here's Cordell. Makes it into a second, but traded out by Spiff to bring it back to an even 3 versus 3. Now that Surf have got full control at Pillar, have eviscerated Harry Potter, and have gotten rid of all the Emergence members, they focus now on the execute. Still feels like kind of a rush tempo that they want to go for. This is going to be one of the first times that we have to really set up the majority of this utility and try to get a real execute, a real look into what a siege round looks like. The long angle being maintained. Spiff is waiting for it. Here goes Asian, starts to step forward. They don't have a real solid entry point, and they do not have that rock, that ledge to grasp onto and to pull yourself over the top of this obstacle that has been an even 3 versus 3. They really need some utility right now, and Spiff has got the grenade. Oh, it nearly forces Son of Finn out, but he's playing this one so precariously. Asian gets him as Son of Finn tries for the peek. He goes prone. Jaeger, what a reaction right out of the 0. Talon is the last one left. He's facing the wrong direction. Talon, no! What are you looking at? He gives it up at the worst possible time. And he's looking the wrong way. Oh, brother.
What do you expect? I feel like I'm a broken record at this point. Like, I feel like I've mentioned every one of these points. Like, there's just no rhyme or reason to these rounds other than gunfights. Like, do you disagree with that, or like, I don't know what to make of this. Like it seems like it's one team, Emergence, who is trying their hardest to move deeper into postseason, and Surf is playing to have fun. They're playing to enjoy Rainbow Six Siege. And I don't fault them for that. In fact, I actually want to encourage more players to enjoy playing Rainbow, because that's the way, I mean, you're playing, you know, video games to have fun. And if you're not enjoying the game, just move on and do something else. Do something else that encourages, you know, enjoyment, dopamine, and whatnot. And I'm glad that Surf is enjoying this series. But also, we have to look at this game from a critical eye. And, you know, it's our job as casters to be critical of mistakes. And there's just a plethora of mistakes across both teams. Some more egregious than others, and Surf seems to be almost carrying the burden of these mistakes, but they just overcome them because they're just inherent gunners. I mean, they are some of the best amateur gunners in North American Rainbow Six Siege currently in the server on the side of Surf. And they're showing that in the gunfights they take against Emergence, who have solid gunners. I mean, Cordell is the GOAT, Talon's a GOAT, Warrior's a GOAT, Herp's a GOAT, same thing with Finn. However, Surf just is able to recoil better when mistakes are made.
Yeah, I feel like if a caster was like complimentary of a mistake, that wouldn't really make much sense, would it? Like, I don't know, like, it would be like really sarcastic. Like, yeah, congrats, you just got 3 of your players opening blasted.
I think we said that before. I think we said that about Warrior. We said,
yeah.
Good job, Warrior, walking up to the building and forgetting to check those darn weapons.
Oh, what?
Good night.
I thought Spiff had that in the backpack, but apparently not. What a really push and pull Oregon.
So, more even so far in Oregon, and we're going to have to see if that continues to pan on out. Nacho, the last one on left, the die-hard support player, and the only true support on Surf. Forced to find 5, he has to evolve out of his shell, but Reese, there's no evolution other to 6 feet under as Nacho. Like the rest of his mates find themselves in a flawless loss in round number 4.
Can a loss be flawless?
I don't know. I guess. I mean, you can have...
How do you lose without flaw? Like, you get cheated?
Well, then by that... You're absolutely correct. Poor choice of words, but also...
Oh, sorry.
But then also that makes me... By that logic, it also makes me hate the fact that it says flawless victory. Well, what was flawless? It just says flawless victory. It should be flawless victory because of no deaths, because, I mean, there were mistakes made by Emergence. Like, I don't... Somebody send me a clip of an entire round duration with 0 mistakes. I eagerly wait to see that VOD.
Yeah, that's true. It really depends how you quantify... Not quantify, how you qualify a mistake.
Yeah.
Maybe quantify would be...
So,
I guess both of them are relevant.
There's an I don't remember which F1 driver said it, but the saying goes, if you're not making mistakes when you're racing or you're driving, you're going too slow. And it's very true. Because if you think of like how a car at speed works, you're always having little oversteer moments, which is back in coming out and stuff, and you have to actually like drive the car. And that's fast. And the same thing is in Siege, right? It's the IGL kind of motor mouthing call-outs, motor mouthing the strategy, thinking about things, putting the attackers in the right place with defenders. And as the round continues to evolve, the strategy evolves. And I guess the definition of flawless, it can't be flawless since the strategy is constantly changing. That was deep.
It's very deep.
We're getting
surprising
philosophical.
out of this game that we would have such a deep
Oh,
thought.
Stop.
Brian
Asian is
Schubert.
tasing himself. With 0...
I like that our observer catches it too. Like, you don't get anything anything
Well-
past Kaz.
I mean, Kaz sees damage, right? And he's like, all right, Asian's in a gunfight. Asian's rushing like he was doing earlier. Oh no, Asian's just shocking himself.
That's a nice way to get the observer's attention. Don't think I've seen that one yet. And another way that you catch people's eye is by peeking the big window and shooting a defender who is hanging out in the open. Emergents have an old classic deployable shield here. Preparing for some of the sight lines. The hard breach has been successful. Okay, Cordell has been on a bit of a streak in terms of winning gunfights convincingly against Surf attackers. And he's going to come up from the small tower as well. Might be prepping for a jump out. Keep an eye on the Ella. In fact, she's preparing for it now. Ashen is ready for it. I don't know what Cordell thought there. Oh no, nearly! And the assist, Perplex, will come for the layup. It costs the life of the Ella, but it results in the death of the Zoe. And Nacho suddenly realizes, hey, I need to make a play. But Perplex and a Finn all clean up for Emergence, as that's EMG now with the lead behind them.
That was the most effective round of aggression that we've seen all day, Reese. Why? Because it was team aggression. It was aggression with a purpose. Now, I know I've been kind of just like poo-pooing on aggression. I've been kind of just saying it's stupid, it's dumb, because the gunfights that we see are dumb. Like, there is a time and place to be aggressive, and there's a way to be aggressive. Now, Cordell's run out I don't necessarily agree with, but I agree with Perp because he knows that the M762 is low on ammo because of that extended firefight, and plus, when you play that level of aggression, you have pretty much free information and real-time information on exactly what Ashen was doing, and that was well coordinated. That was good team play. We need to see more team play centered around aggression, right? Like, you can't just say, oh, their strat is aggression, and they don't play together as a team. If you're just yoling around the map like you're playing silver ranked elo, there's just no way you can ever convince me that that's a strategy. But when you have Perp run out the window like that to guarantee the trade in a gunfight that you're very likely to win, I'll say that's the aggression I want to see more of.
Tertiary defense here, Brian. Not a common one we've had. It feels like that doesn't even matter though. Like, that point is just meaningless because there has been like no site rotation this game. We've just been playing sites to play them. Like, we haven't, we never talked about that old like caster's point, like, oh, they won the primary and the secondary site, but can they get the tertiary? Like, we never mentioned that through the first two maps because it just wasn't relevant. Surf or Emergence, whichever for, I mean, mostly it's been due to Surf playing their way on attack or on the defense. They have just made this game in an entirely different tempo, one that we rarely get. Surf look like they want to do two different things. They've got Ashen on this tall angle, seeing if anyone will run back from green, but they've also got the entirety of the rest of the push focused over by Big Tower.
Asian now falling. It seems like Surf starting to stall out, and there's the trade back from Cordell. I mean, Asian has been on the roulette wheel of operators recently. I mean, he was playing primary hard support, now over to a flex entry type role. Now, I like the way that Emergence was playing with pressure downstairs. This is an excellent opportunity for them to use nitro cells through the E-box hatch, kind of this reverse Uno card of nitros to deny plant of that stage. However, Reese, we have yet to actually really see Surf even really attempt to plant the bomb. I mean, even going back to some of the final rounds of Chalet, where Surf had full bomb site control, and they just decided to, well, not plant. Oh my. They decided not to plant because they just wanted to be on their way into gunfights. Just like Ashen is doing. An incredible flick up to the hatch to find Warrior, forcing Finn to fall off the angle that he was playing over by Kitchen. Now he's more aggressive on that door frame. Now he has to hope and pray that his mates are still covering that security. He's with that aggressive stance towards the west side of the bomb site. I mean, his back is fully exposed.
What miracles can Emergence pull off in the moment? Here comes Ambi. It's crucial to shut him down, but the mood is looking the wrong direction. Too preoccupied with the player inside dining. Ashen beats Perplex through from the hatch as Talon. Oh, here he comes for two. The Malusi proving to be a bit of a reaper this round. And Nacho and Ashen close out on fundamentals. Please. In the case. This goes Nacho as Ashen and he ducks for cover. They're gonna try to play the vertical, I think. This Talon is still rotating forward. You let that Zofia get above you, and that could very well mean the end of this round. They'll create an opening. Firstly, oh no! With Ashen on a sliver of HP, the Zoe is gonna have to be so passive. The Hibana has impressive positioning, though. Nacho just waiting inside securities. Jimmy Talon doesn't have any intel to act on this. Will try to ninja defuse. Nacho will hear the call and step forward, and it's actually Ashen from up above. Surprising that he could find the angle. I guess he just realized this defender has to be somewhere. Puts the bullets in through the wall to give the round to Surf.
I was thinking the entire time, man, imagine if we saw Zofia there with no Claymore instead of flat place breaching charges. I mean, you'd have been able to reconstruct more, and it actually does become relevant at the end of the round. I guess not all that relevant because it's a 2v1 post-plant, and it'd be nice to have those holes, but when you're taking damage by spray through the wall, you're not going to have that luxury of placing that charge on down. Surf finds themselves 3-3.5, and now they go over to defense, and all eyes are truly going to be on Emergence. Emergence has the opportunity of, if they deny the aggression of Surf, if they find the spawn peaks earlier, and in particular if Warrior doesn't get opening deathed, I think Emergence wins this. But it's really on Sunafin, and it's really on Emergence to do their homework, do their due diligence, and make sure they don't get smoked from really silly, aggressive stances of Surf.
Is this the first time the half has been tied?
I believe so, because it was, what, 4-2 on Coastline. Yeah. It was also 4-2 on Chalet. So, yes, first time.
Well, there you are. There we have it. Has this been the closest game, though, in terms of the first half? Coastline? Coastline is so hard to quantify how close it was, because the rounds were so entirely one-sided, but at the same time, they had their own, their own rhythm, their own, nature that they played. It's such a weird way, a weird element to talk about and think of in a more general sense. On the dorms push, Merchants are taking the small tower, as you would normally do for the big window take, which has more recently become kind of the white stairs take. Not really all about the big window anymore. You do have a presence from Surf below, though. Some considerations have been paid for the thought that Emergence will try to clear this out. And this is the moment where you had better hope that they drone out Kitchen. With the position the drone economy is in, I don't know if I can guarantee that.
Wow. That was a beautiful shot from Warrior. Warrior took a recent break from the Emergence roster, now making one of his return debuts. I mean, he is flexing his muscle. And Finn, too. You mentioned that Finn is either going to be a standout performer or kind of a sleeper. And he's not sleeping today, because he's tucking the members in on Surf. He's reading them the bedtime stories. Surf's aggression, their whole downstairs, is being ripped apart one by one. Now, unfortunately, Emergence doesn't know when to stop their attack, regroup, and regather information, because they shouldn't be in this position. Also, Nacho shouldn't be there at all, and Nacho's been on quite a struggle bus here on map 3.
That could have been a really big win there for Nacho below, but he didn't factor in that somebody could have stepped down towards Green Hall. A simple barricade on that Green Hall door could have easily meant a better looking situation. Instead, you hand over Emergence the man advantage. 60 seconds to work with is honestly not too bad, but the diffuser is in kind of a poor location. Outside the big window, somebody has to make the conscious decision to go and grab it. Cordell will quickly snatch Asian. pressure from the Hibana out on Rappel. Cordell possibly thinking about coming in here. Burns the ADS, he's got the Candelas. Smith is going to have a really tough time about this one. Knows there's somebody. Oh no, the Hibana, she rotated off the window. And they're going to have to come in. Spiff with an expert rotate. Oh, he pops Cordell. Shotgun, C4, over the top, but Son of Finn pulls it out of the trash bin. For Emergence, a round nearly gone awry.
Whoa, Spiff. Almost a Cordell level clutch on Coastline, but just like Cordell, he falls just short of the finish line, unable to complete that round. Now Surf, with the disadvantage here on Oregon, now one round against them. Do we start to question the motives and the mentality of Surf, Reese? Is it fair to say, all right, boys, maybe we shouldn't have been trolling so much? Maybe we shouldn't have had Asian hazing himself with all 4 of his 0 cameras earlier? And I mean that truly when I say that, because if Surf loses this series because they trolled, man, that's a bitter pill to swallow.
Bombs from being defused by attackers.
This could have been over on Chalet if Surf had not done what they did on Coastline. If they had not been, you know, it's cool to have Surf in the stream, like talking to us about the game. Maybe save that for the regular season.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I think
not-
what it comes down to is I don't think they respected their opponents enough. Like, I truly think everybody has been kind of just, like, poo-pooing on Emergence, thinking that they're just, you know, a bottom-of-the-barrel team because they barely qualified in. Like, they were only +1 on their win record. I mean, they squeaked on by into postseason. And I think Surf was expecting this to be a free contest, and that's why we saw them troll. And unfortunately, they trolled a bit too hard on map number 1. They played great on map 2, and now, it's what I called it earlier, that little salt, the troll salt, is back. And Surf has to play well. In Emergence, they look very confident here on Oregon.
I wouldn't chalk it up to dire straits just yet. Emergence have some safety room here. Emergence, if they win this not on match point, that gives Surf time to react, to respond, to figure it out. Your hard
Run
breacher
out.
is the opening death. That's not the way that you begin such a pivotal round to securing your position, possibly in the semifinals. The team that the winner of this game would face, we don't know yet. Ambi over aggressives from top white. They had a great thing going. They had Son of Finn, they had the hard breach, but you give away the Wamai. Imagine the situation without the main wall open. The attackers have so limited access routes into the site. Now, you can say, okay, well, Jimmy Talon and maybe Cordell as well. No, I don't think the Ying has selected it. They have the secondary breaching tool. Talon's not in a position to open the main wall. There's a minute and 30 left. They do not have that area of pressure. They're going to have to do this in the way that they tried it last round, which we saw it gets hectic towards the end. If you face Surf that are strong, things can go way better. Ashen spots one, and he wants this, but Emergents aren't going to give it to him.
We even mentioned that you can rotate those pocket thermite charges on over to deal with Master Bedroom. Not only was that not an option then because of the active play of Ashen, you've also lost that ability since Talon is off the board. And it's been the new superstar, new addition to Emergence, Cordell, the top frag, forced to bring his roster out of the brink of destruction. And look at this angry hunting pack of Surf. And they find themselves a pretty free win off the back of the death of Son of Finn. Wow. Okay.
Whew. Good look there with the SMG-11. Tie game here from Surf. We're 4-4. Who's going to take it? Who's going to move up to 5 first? I've got a distinct feeling that Surf are kind of going to buckle in now. They realize, all right, maybe we let it get a little bit too chaotic. It's on attack. You know, Emergence, this shouldn't be going as well as it has been. And, you know, yeah, I guess you could say the rounds have been kind of flip-floppy, and the first half was really where Emergence did their best work so far. But, you know, as far as the way that this one looks, you gotta just close it out. Like, that's the most pivotal thing. Do not let this opportunity slip away. You already kind of let the series as a whole take a bit of a slip when you gave away map number 1 because there was too much troll salt, as you've called it. They let it get into overtime. They let Emergence come back. They did not close out the map when they got on a match point. Will that happen here? I don't think so. I have a feeling that Surf are going to kind of reel it in.
I also wonder if Surf is going to go with a full 4 bomb site rotation. We saw that on Chalet. They started off downstairs in kitchen. They went to the basement, upstairs to master, then eventually into bar. And I honestly wouldn't put it past them to go with that rotation. And
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse.
honestly, I don't necessarily think it's a bad decision. Because again, let's go back to that talking point that we had at the start of map 1, how strong of an IGL Finn is. He's going to be, you know, always analyzing what's going on. And if you go 3 maps, it's pretty fair, or pardon me, 3 rounds in a row, you expect to eventually go back to that first round, that round 7 bomb site. So maybe if you go to one of these other sister sites, it could trip up Emergence. I mean, it didn't work on Chalet because actually that bar round was won by Emergence, but they ended up losing the second time it was shown. So at this point, who knows?
Well, Surf Esports playing a pretty spread option defense. A couple of members around the freezer area right now with a little bit more of a loose roam around the rear stage. They'll drop away from that. Asian, I think, is important to watch. He's playing super aggro, he's in freezer, he's got the shotgun, and he's on those stairs with the license to pretty much do whatever he wants. And he could be what stops Emergence in this attack. You look at Ambi, who's in the garage. From the positioning of an Emergence, I don't think they're aware of this. Wardell is still droning. The time is in a very spotty position, given, you know, kind of where Emergence are in the round. Ashen, a great camera, spotted out, though, the black guy who's gotten rid of. Ambi still inside this garage. Son of Finn doesn't know what lied ahead of him. And Warrior will try to pin down the Vigil, who responds with a barrage of his own. This is going to be a really complicated thing to deal with. They need somebody like Cordell outside to try this. But look at Surf. They're trying to come to the rescue of Ambi. I don't think they're successful in doing so. In fact, here's Ashen from the stage. Spiff, he's peeking out of small tower. Avenges the death of Ambi so far. He's the only casualty that they've suffered. And Perplexed are about to let this one go away. And even larger Emergence as a whole. The Valkyrie prone, spotted out and dealt with. What an expert move by Perplexed, but still has 3 to eviscerate with 40 seconds to do it. I don't see it happening.
Certainly a tall order. We saw Cordell get close to being able to win it, so it is maybe possible if Emergence puts Perp in the right spot, but he is just fishing for kills at this point, Reese. I mean, look at him. He's just full ADSing around the map, just hoping he spots one. There's Asian's death, but look at the members of Surf. They've now all been recalled to the bomb site. So sure, Perp has picked up the diffuser. He's now going to have to go through a daring drop through E-Box. Player on the other side, the swing. Shoot! You have to take your kill. There it is. Oh, Reese, has become very doable. But with 1 second left on the clock, you're going to have to go for the full 7-second plant animation. And it was just a little bit too close.
I think maybe if he tried to plant there, he could have seen that one through. And it's such a shame because on Chalet, we saw Perplexed in a similar position where his team got picked away getting map control. And then Perplexed was set up in a very difficult look. It was like a 1 versus 4 that he was in. It might have even been a 1 versus 5. And he just got the kills that he needed to. Eventually, he whittled it down. You'll remember it was right at kind of the cusp between the library hallway and piano on the second floor. And there was all 3 of them. All 3 defenders were right there looking at him, wanting to take the fights, and he had killed the first player. He could not get rid of the last 2 that were behind the deployable shield. That time, he gets even farther. He gets it down to a 1 versus 1, but if he had just planted, that could have been Emergence within the stepping stone of match point. Instead, it's Surf Esports who have that first leap.
I mean, to echo that, how often have we seen a defender kind of ring around the rosy hunting for that planter? 7 seconds can either be a really long time or a very short amount of time. And if you don't know where that diffuser's going down, you might end up missing it altogether. All right, EJ. This is an oldie. This is not my first time seeing it, and I wish it was the last time that I saw it. This is an SCS Season 5 qualifying strat that EJ wrote for his meme team. And the last time I saw it, those 2 frost mats found 2 kills each. The one on the north window. It's just one of those strategies where if you drone it out, some attacking teams want to push in through small tower. You shouldn't. You should push in through meeting room. It's kind of the say, hey, we're over here, attackers. You want to now execute on us. And it's really on Emergence to see this hold and say, wow, great hold, guys. We're now going to the east side of the map.
Oh, no. Maybe if Emergence were better prepared for it. Oh! Ashen, the confidence of this man to peek against Perplexed. One of the only 2 players on Emergence to have stepped across the line to double digits utility burn, trying to get rid of this shield setup. C4 from Ashen, he's busy rotating. Oh, but you can't linger on this. You have to be quick about burning this utility, because every second you wait is another second towards resetting the cooldown on the ADS and allowing Asian to sit here for longer. Ashen has the Deagle. A headshot against Warrior. He's inside a T3. This is so good because now Surf don't have that northeastern pressure against this top stairs hold. EU1D, but it's almost fickle as Spiff with the 1x optic whistles one against Talon. Emergence are looking awful grim here.
Stop peeking, please. Asian. Like, again, you have man advantage. You're in a 5v2. Just vibe, sit back, you got 90 seconds. Cordell and Finn are baiting at this point. Honestly, man, like, you have Diffuser down, you have everything to win. Again, I know Asian wants to flex. Like, I know he wants to hit more things for his Twitter clips. Like, it's not lost on me. But also, they do kind of want to go into the later stages of the postseason because... No way!
Oh,
There's no way that Frostbat worked, Cordell. You're better than that, bro. That's just dumb. I started talking about this round with those EJ Frostmats, and it worked. Finn, if you died to that, man. It's a 1v1, though. Finn can win this, Reese.
Yeah, he's just got Ashen and Nacho. So it looks like maybe a TK there for Surf. Who knows why. Son of Finn with a flashbang. 30 seconds to play this one. Very patient, very safe from Ashen, who waits just through the other side of the door. Son of Finn has made it into the site. The Eagle's gun barrel spotted. Nearly a victory there. But the Valkyrie will pull through and put Surf onto match point and quarterfinals point.
This is probably where we should have been the entire time, Reese. We came into this series saying that Surf was the better team. And as much as I am friends with the members of Emergence, I absolutely stand by the statement I gave. However, even if Surf is the better team coming into this series, the fact that they have BM'd and trolled their entire way through is just a little bit frustrating. Because again, we know what Surf is capable of. We know that they can shoot back. Like, Ambi, Asian, Nacho, Spiff, and Ashen have proven to me more than once that they are the best mechanical underagers currently in North America. Like, I think it's very difficult to disagree with that. Sometimes, though, I wish that they would play less YOLO and a little bit more smart. Thank you, Asian, for that.
You never seen that before?
Like, I get it. Like, I even made this point earlier. Like, I said, sometimes we forget that this is a video game, and as amateur players, amateur broadcasters, like, this should be for fun. Like, you should be hopping into every one of your comp matches, every one of your ranked matches to have fun. And if you aren't, just don't play the game and play something else. Like, you should be having fun. And it's not lost to me that Surf is having fun, but sometimes I have to look at this from a critical standpoint, and Surf just makes really stupid plays.
don't know what's going on here. Ashen, they put the barricade back up. Is he gonna try to like get a one deek onto one of these players?
Why wouldn't he?
Uh-oh. There
That's
it
not a
is.
1D.
It's not. It's the MPX and missed shots against Warrior.
You can't have your Deagle Prince stream here in Rainbow Six Siege, but what you can have are Nitro Cells out when those perp takes damage. But he's Finka. He's the pocket doc of the attacking side, so he heals himself back up. And the last day, ladies and gentlemen, that you'll see on broadcast Finka affecting recoil, because tomorrow the 30th, the new patch comes out, and thankfully Finka no longer affects recoil. The devs have listened to us, and unfortunately Warrior has yet to listen to me once this game, as he's the opening death for the millionth time.
And Surf are cruising along on a match point. They're up 5 versus 2. Finally, one will go down, but it's only one. Perplexed is hungry for a second, but Nacho being elusive, and that's the game! Surf Esports are moving on in the bracket as they clinch a spot in the semifinals. It was a 3-mapper, but really a victory for Surf Esports at heart. A really fun game to look back on. A little bit of trolling, a little bit of this or that, here or there. But they make it through nonetheless. Commiserations. Unfortunate loss to Emergence. They really tried their best. I think it was worth commending them just for making it into playoffs alone after such an intense race through those last 2 weeks of the regular season.
And again, it's no secret to anybody that was watching or playing the server that Surf was trolling, but really well done to Emergence. I mean, to win a map against Surf is an accomplishment. I don't care if Surf is trolling or if Surf is playing the hardest. You still won against them, and that is quantifiable fact. So well done, Finn, and the rest of Emergence. Surf, they were expected to move on. They are the highest seeded team in their division, and they will continue that honor as they move into semis.
Yeah, so that's the first quarter final, but as Quarter would tell you, there are a couple more of them. 3, in fact, to close out this bracket. While it's uncertain if we'll have a broadcast on Wednesday, as I've been told that Oblivion have disbanded and they might be not playing their games for the rest of the season. I know Momo is like coaching or something now, or making stupid tweets on Twitter, and I think Pops tried to get his new roster in, but anyway, maybe because of roster lock, they weren't able to. We do have games tomorrow and Thursday in concrete. I can tell you that. The game that we'll have in just 24 hours, or maybe a little bit less so, is actually a really good one. And you look at this game, and it kind of tells you a couple things about the state of the league. Coastal Gaming getting into playoffs. You know, maybe there was a little bit of finagling there due to some forfeiture, but they're in, and that's that. That'll be played on the new patch, as Chief mentioned, so that ought to be interesting with all the changes coming. Think, I imagine it's going to be just going up, 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 and up. And they're taking on Team Mystic, another one of those favorited teams to appear not only in semis, but also in the grand final of the league.
Sticula, it has been quite a day, but we're going to have to step away. As we mentioned, tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, for our continuation for more games in the quarterfinals. My name is Chief Cass. Sticula was my co-caster, my beautiful duo today. And of course, Kaz, our observer, and Tango Mango Down, our producer. Ladies and gentlemen, until tomorrow, stay safe and well.